It is high school football, Alabama's After the Game on a football Friday night, presented by the Calhoun County Commission. John Holder, I'll be joined in just a few moments by Coach Michael Short and Chad Barnett, our entire hard-working After the Game team, with you all the way until after midnight tonight on week number 10 of the high school football season. Tons of games with tons of playoff implications. Very few games not affecting the High School Athletic Association state playoffs coming up in 2 weeks. Very few of those games not affecting the playoffs tonight across East Alabama. Some monumental impact games coming up. So let's join in now, our USA Softball of Alabama scoreboard, and get you up to date on all the final scores all across East Alabama. We will have complete highlights of this game. Chad Barnett is on his way back from Piedmont. He stayed all the way to the end tonight. This game went to overtime. Piedmont tonight beating Hoax Bluff 22-21 in overtime. They scored in their end of the overtime, went for two. It was tied 14-14 at the end of the overtime. Piedmont scores, goes for two. They get the win. And Piedmont, because of a loss by Ohatchee tonight, we'll get to that in just a moment, they are back in the Class 3A state playoffs as the number 3 team out of Class 3A Region 6. Hoax Bluff will be the number 4 team in that region, and Ohatchee will now be out of the state playoffs for the 2023 season. We will have all the highlights of that game, including the game-winning touchdown and two-point conversion. All those highlights coming from the Field of Champions in Piedmont. Also tonight, Golden Eagle Stadium in Jacksonville. We will have highlights of this game. Number 7 in 4A Jacksonville beating White Plains 62-0. Jacksonville never lost to White Plains. They're 11-0, and they did not lose tonight. They scored early and often and won this game handily, 62-0 over White Plains. We will have highlights of this game coming as well. Number 10 Oxford beating Center Point tonight at Lamar Field in Oxford. This wrapped up home field advantage for the Oxford Yellow Jackets, as they will be in the Class 6A state playoffs, hosting a first-round game at Lamar Field in 2 weeks. Oxford beating Center Point 35-14. Next week is Oxford and Jacksonville, 2 top 10 teams in their respective classifications, playing each other at Golden Eagle Stadium in Jacksonville. We are going to be joined by the head coach of the Oxford Yellow Jackets, Coach Sam Adams, later on the show tonight here on After the Game, and we will also have complete highlights of that game coming from down in Oxford at Lamar Field. This was a wild game. In the first half, this was a back and forth county in Heflin, 38-36. We mentioned earlier, Ohatchee beset by injuries. They go to Rainsville tonight to take on Plainview. Ohatchee falls to Plainview tonight, 34-18. Couple that with Piedmont's overtime win over Hoax Bluff, and Ohatchee is knocked out of the state playoffs, and their season ends tonight with a record of 5-5. Alexandria, the Valley Cubs win tonight over Talladega, 50-15 at Lou Scales Stadium out in Alexandria, Death Valley. Alexandria has not lost to Talladega since 1962. They did not lose tonight. They get their first and only win of the year. Alexandria's season is over. Talladega has Sachs coming up next week. So we will be basically looking at the highlights of that game. We'll have highlights of that game. Alexandria and Talladega. That game is going, we'll have highlights of that game. We're also going to have a special treat for you. We're going to be joined by the head coach of the Alexandria Valley Cubs, Todd Ginn. He will be with us on the show tonight. And also, we will have the Alexandria radio crew from the Big 95. They will join us live in studio tonight. But Alexandria gets the win tonight in their last regular season game as they beat Talladega 50-15. Great ball game out at Bill Bryan Stadium in Weaver. A playoff berth on the line, the 4th and final playoff berth in Class 3A Region 4 on the line. Beulah tonight beats Weaver 38-31. So Beulah will wrap up the 4th spot there in Class 3A Region 4 as Beulah comes in and beats Weaver tonight 38-31. Heartbreaking, tough loss for Jacksonville Christian. This was the semifinals of the Christian Football Association playoffs at Tommy Miller Field in Jacksonville. We will have highlights of this game, but Tuscaloosa Christian hands JCA their first loss of the season, and they end the JCA season. Tuscaloosa Christian had lost to Jacksonville Christian earlier in the year, 48-36. JCA scores 48 tonight, but Tuscaloosa Christian scores 56. And Tuscaloosa Christian comes in and they beat JCA tonight, 56-48. Highlights of that game coming from Tommy Miller Field. Pleasant Valley, they're headed for the Class 2A state playoffs. They tuned up with for that tonight with a win over the Gaston Bulldogs, 50-20. Pleasant Valley 50, Gaston 20. Pleasant Valley assured now that they're not going to have a losing season in the regular season. They got Weaver coming up Thursday and then a Class 2A state playoff berth coming up. But Pleasant Valley tonight beats Gaston 50-20. Central of Coosa and Ranburne. This score just coming in from down in Hanover in Coosa County. And Ranburne wins over Central of Coosa. Over 100 points scored in this game, folks. Ranburne 64, Central of Coosa 39. The final tonight from down in Hanover. That same region, Class 2A Region 4, Isabella comes to Sewell Field in Woodland, and they beat up on the Bobcats tonight 54-14. Isabella 54, Woodland 14. Randolph County and Dadeville. This was for home field advantage in the 3A playoffs in 2 weeks. And Randolph County at home tonight at Hewlin-Humphrey Stadium in Wedowee. They beat Dadeville 32-22. So Randolph County will be at home in the first round of the Class 3A state playoffs in 2 weeks. Handley and Munford. We will have highlights of this game. Our reigning Ted's Floors and Beyond Team of the Week. They played valiantly tonight, but number 6 Handley comes in. They beat Munford tonight 35-14. The final score from down at Munford Stadium. Highlights of that game coming on after the game. Wadley tonight, they wrapped up the region title in Class 1A Region 6. Wadley tonight goes to Howells Cove, and they beat Talladega County Central 47-0. Central of Clay County, the 350th win for Danny Horn. We'll show you, I think, a couple of pictures of that coming up. Central of Clay County tonight at home at Volunteer Stadium. Number 3 team in 5A. They beat Russell County out of Seal tonight 30-14 as they get ready for the 5A playoffs in 2 weeks. Last night, number 1 and 2A BB Comer at home at Legion Stadium in Sylacauga knock off their next door neighbors from Fayetteville 49-0 last night. Also last night, Winterboro is going to the Class 1A state playoffs. This was a winner goes to the playoffs, loser stays at home, and Winterboro's going. They beat Victory Christian last night 53-28 down at Winterboro. Also last night, up in Knoxville, Tennessee, the Alabama School for the Deaf, they made it, hey, twice in 1 week, Alabama beating Tennessee, as Alabama beats Tennessee School for the Deaf in Knoxville last night 52-8. Tonight, the Leeds Green Wave, number 7 team in the state in Class 5A, creating a 3-way tie now for first place in Class 5A Region 6 as Leeds comes into Lincoln. They beat the Golden Bears tonight at Keith Howard Memorial Stadium by a score of 30-14. Last night, double overtime. Pinson Valley beats Pell City. Heartbreaking loss for Rush Probst and the Panthers as they had all kind of opportunities to win that game. But Pinson Valley clinches a playoff berth as, well, I take that back. Shades Valley is going to be in the state playoffs. Pinson Valley beating Pell City 41-38. Double overtime last night at Willie Adams Stadium in Pinson. Tonight, one of the big games. Southside could have won the region championship outright if they would have won at Moody, but they did not. Number 8 Moody beats number 5 Southside 34-21, so that creates a 3-way tie for first. We're going to next week to non-region games and tiebreakers and so forth. Moody beating Southside tonight 34-21. One team out of 5A Region 6 that is going to the state playoffs is the Springville Tigers. They will be the number 4 team out of that region. They win tonight at St. Clair County 42-13 in Odenville. This was a game where the winner goes to the state playoffs. The loser stays at home. St. Clair County staying at home. Springville headed toward the 5A state playoffs. Cherokee County rolling along, undefeated, number 2 in the state in 4A. They win tonight at Asheville 56-7. Cherokee County's never lost to Asheville. They didn't do it tonight. They're now 10-0. Huge game tonight. We'll have highlights of this game from Jason Howard Field at Spring Garden. Spring Garden beating Ragland 42-27. This was a close game, actually a low-scoring game there in the first half, but Spring Garden pulls away in the second half, and this was for home field advantage in the state playoffs in Class 1A. Spring Garden beats Ragland 42-27. Spring Garden will be at home in the first round of the state playoffs in 2 weeks. Ragland will be on the road as the number 3 team out of Class 1A Region 6. Whitesburg Christian, they end Sandrock season. Sandrock season is over with. This was their final game tonight up in Huntsville. Whitesburg Christian beating Sandrock 38-22. Last night, Valley Head, they wrapped up a home field advantage game in the Class 1A state playoffs out of 1A Region 7 as they beat Galesville last night 53-14. Great game tonight up at Cedar Bluff at LD Bruce Field. Cedar Bluff beats Appalachian tonight 21-16. Cedar Bluff 21, Appalachian 16, the final tonight from up at the Bluff. Geraldine comes to Glencoe. They beat the Yellow Jackets tonight. Geraldine number 9 in 3A. They're at home in the first round of the 3A playoffs. They beat Glencoe tonight 54-7. Sylvania, region champions out of 3A Region 6. They come into Rainbow City tonight. They beat Westbrook Christian 30-7. Number 8 Sylvania 30, Westbrook Christian 7. Coosa Christian, number 10 team in the state in 1A. No problem at all tonight in Gadsden at Philip Ellen Field as they beat Woodville 51-0. The final score tonight. Coosa Christian headed for the Class 1A state playoffs. They'll be the number 3 team out of Class 1A Region 7. Gadsden City, a region champion. They ended their regular season tonight. They have an open date next week. They'll be at home in the first round of the Class 6A state playoffs in 2 weeks at Titan Stadium. Tonight at Titan Stadium, they beat Calera, keeping the Eagles winless 46-0 Gadsden City over Calera. Coleman tonight. Etowah was in this game early, but Coleman pours it on late. They beat Etowah tonight over in Coleman. Coleman 42, Etowah 10. Locust Fork, the first ever. We're going to make that record now 10-0. Locust Fork, the number 7 team in the state in Class 2A. They beat West End tonight at Walnut Grove 51-12 as Locust Fork is now 10-0 for the first time in school history with that win tonight over the West End Patriots. Gunnersville, no problem. They were smarting after that upset loss last week to Arab. They took it out on Sardis tonight as they beat the Lions at the Lions Den in Sardis 55-0. Statewide games around the state. Number 1 Leroy and number 4 Milry. Number 1 Leroy beats Milry 26-0. Leroy 26, Milry nothing in that top 4 matchup in Class 1A in Southwest Alabama. That is a rematch of last year's South Alabama championship game in 1A. Leroy won it then. Leroy wins tonight over Milry. Lynn and South Lamar. This score just coming in. Lynn, this was a close game. This was 19-13 at one point in the second half. But Lynn pulls away to win a region championship as they beat South Lamar tonight 47-20 in a battle of top 10 1As over in Winston County at Lynn tonight. This was a game everyone's talking about. Number 4 Reeltown, number 2 Highland Home in Class 2A played tonight at Reeltown. This game was every bit as good as folks thought it was going to be. Reeltown beats Highland Home 21-14. Mobile Christian, your new number 1 team in Class 3A, beating a very good Thomasville team tonight in Mobile. The Leopards 10-0. Ronnie Cottrell's got that team playing very well. They beat Thomasville tonight 45-14. How about this one? Number 1 Andalusia goes down tonight to number 3 Montgomery Catholic in Montgomery. Montgomery Catholic beating Andalusia. They played twice last year, including in the state semifinals. They may play twice this year. There'll be some teams around here have something to say about that. But tonight, number 1 and defending state champion Andalusia goes down. They lose to Montgomery Catholic by a score of 27-14. 27-14 is the final score in that game. And also another game that everybody is talking about, the team everybody's talking about, is number 1 Gulf Shores. They beat number 9 Viger tonight 42-12 down at Gulf Shores. Of course, there's some allegations coming out about Gulf Shores, maybe recruiting and things like that. Big story out down on the Gulf Coast. Tonight, they beat Viger 42-12, the final in that big 5A game. Also in 5A tonight up in North Alabama, Russellville and Fairview. Number 10 Russellville beating number 6 Fairview tonight at Russellville 31-14. And in Class 6A tonight, this score just coming in, well, there's no surprise here. Number 1 Saraland taking on a Theodore team that knocked them off last year. But tonight, that did not happen at Saraland. The Spartans remain undefeated, number 1 team in the state in 6A, as the Spartans tonight roll over Theodore. That was by a score of 42-13. Saraland 42, Theodore 13. So there's all your final scores. Of course, tonight, throughout the night, we'll have our bottom line is our Alabama Teachers Credit Union bottom line, and we'll be scrolling final scores from all across East Alabama and around the state coming up all throughout the night right here on After the Game. Let's tell you about our friends at Cutter's Pizzeria, 2 locations to serve you. I've been digging into this tonight, folks. This is what they brought us tonight. This is a all-meat pizza, the first one. This is a pepperoni pizza. They have 2 locations to serve you, Highway 78 East in Oxford, also on U.S. Highway 431 in Alexandria. Let me tell you, that pizza right there that has the crust on the top, that is the all-meat pizza, and folks, that is fantastic. They have all kind of specials going on. They have hand-tossed pizzas. They've got the 5-pound pizza out there that's awesome. 7 different styles of pizza. We're going to be eating on that. Our special guests tonight are going to be eating on that. I had a little bit of both. I had the pepperoni tonight, and I also had a little bit of that meat lovers pizza as well. Go to cutterspizzeria.com to find out more about Cutter's Pizzeria bringing us great food on Football Friday nights right here at the RMC Media Center at Parker Memorial Baptist Church on Quintard Avenue in Midtown Anniston on this Football Friday night. Back on After the Game, John Holder with you on this Football Friday night. We've got special guests coming by, highlights, Team of the Week, Player of the Week, Muscle Team, Concession Stand, a whole lot more. We're just getting started on After the Game on a Football Friday night, presented by the Calhoun County Commission.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Terry Howell, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
What does it mean to be a community bank? At Noble Bank and Trust, it means you're more than an account number. You're a valued member of our community. Whether it's checking, savings, a loan, mortgage, or line of credit, Noble Bank and Trust meets all your banking needs with exceptional technology customized just for you while making you feel right at home. Make the switch to Noble Bank and Trust, and we will make sure you're taken care of from beginning to end. Noble Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
After 15 years of supplying top-quality, name-brand sports equipment and team apparel to hundreds of Alabama schools, coaches, and athletes, and continuing to provide custom uniforms, embroidery, and screen printing, Team Sports is adding a new player. Coming soon, McClellan Sports and Outdoors. Whether you are an athlete in search of football helmets, bats, or even cleats, or an outdoor enthusiast in search of apparel from top brands, McClellan Sports and Outdoors has you covered. Visit McClellansports.com for more information.
My dad taught me to fish right here years ago. But when an old sports injury started slowing him down, I knew we'd need to search for the latest procedures in knee and hip replacement. With physical therapy tailored to his needs, a dedicated team of doctors and nurses, and he'd want a fast recovery time. So where'd he find all that?
Right here at RMC.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at PeeWeeTurnerMotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Anniston Orthopedics bringing you our Ted's Floors and Beyond score shirts for our Team of the Week. You'll see some of those coming up a little bit later on, and we have our Team of the Week announcement coming up in about an hour and a half, something like that. The Saturday morning sports clinic still going on 8 a.m. at the Tyler Center in Anniston every Saturday. If you want to see an orthopedic doctor, get x-rays, get back on the field or the playing court as soon as possible. There is no sense in worrying or suffering all weekend. Anniston Orthopedics, here to provide quality care and peace of mind every Saturday morning at 8 a.m., continuing to provide a legacy of outstanding sports injury on and off the care, keeping players in the game. Anniston Orthopedics. Back on high school football, Alabama's After the Game on this football Friday night, presented by the Calhoun County Commission. It is time for our Johnson's Giant Food Concession Stand of the Week. Of course, our concession stands every week get a gift certificate, $100, to help with their with their concession stand purchases. Courtesy of Johnson's Giant Food, 5 locations to serve you, 3 in Etowah County, 2 in Calhoun County. So we're going all around the area. Tonight, we were at Munford. We're going to have something called the Howard Cheeseburger. Here's the explanation for that tonight from Munford. We are at Munford High School tonight. This is the Pride of Munford, is that right? Pride of Munford Marching Band concession stand. This is here in the end zone as you come into the Munford Stadium, and they sell great concessions here. We have Laura Holt. She is the treasurer of the Band Booster Club. And what do we got here tonight that we're going to let Don try out from your concession stand this evening?
We have our famous Howard Burger, Howard Cheeseburger, and it's got some special ingredients that we're not going to give away our secret, but it's our special burger that we want you to try for our concession stand.
And you've been raising money this year because you're trying to get some new uniforms for next year, right?
That's right. We have not had new uniforms in about 10 years, so we had
Stand of the Week presented by Johnson's Giant Food, and they will get a $100 gift certificate courtesy of Johnson's to help them buy supplies and raise money for the folks in the Pride of Munford Marching Band. And there you see them assembling the Howard's Cheeseburger. There's the cheese on the burger. Don was telling me that they have a special ingredient in there that had quite a kick to it. Very tasty, very nice hamburger there down at Munford tonight. We have one more concession stand of the week coming up that we'll bring you next Friday night. And then we're going to let you vote. We don't select this. We're going to have a concession stand of the year. Our 11 concession stands of the week. We'll put this all on our Facebook page, High School Football Alabama, and you, the fans, will vote for our concession stand of the year. We'll get a plaque and put them up. By the way, want to say one thing. We have about 50 schools in East Alabama, so obviously we can't hit all the concession stands in a year. This is going to be ongoing. So if we didn't get to you this year, we'll come back next year and the year after, and eventually we'll hit all the concession stand right here in East Alabama. But tonight it was Munford with the Pride of Munford Marching Band, Band Booster concession stand down at Munford. And I was in Munford all over the place today. I've been to Munford twice because earlier in the day, we were at their pep rally to present the Farmers and Merchants Bank Player of the Week. And you see Kristen Lehman there from Team Sports. We've got a plaque. Amari Tank Edmondson, our Player of the Week from last week. He carried the ball 37 times, 260 yards, 3 touchdowns, including the game-winning touchdown pass and the game-winning 2-point conversion in that win last week, 36-28 over the White Plains Wildcats at Robertson Field at White Plains. You see Tank there. He's getting his plaque from Farmers and Merchants Bank. And then Kristen is going to unveil that great Team Sports Player of the Week jersey that has his name on it, had Edmondson on the back. She's presenting that into the pep rally today. See the big smile on the face of Tank Edmondson. He is our Farmers and Merchants Bank Player of the Week and getting that great jersey there, courtesy of the folks at Team Sports. So I had a great time down at Munford. We're going to show you more of the Munford pep rally a little bit later on today because, as we said, they were the reigning Ted's Floors and Beyond Team of the Week, and we'll show you that presentation coming up as well. Tank Edmondson, Tank Edmondson, our Player of the Week. Time for our first Red Threads Extra Point of the night. Fife's head coach Paul Benefield won his 300th game as coach of the Red Devils tonight with a victory over Eider. Benefield's record is 345 with the Red Devils. He's 345 and 56 in 32 seasons. He is just the second prep football coach in Alabama history to win 300 games at one school. The first one, Buddy Anderson, was 346-160 at Vestavia Hills from 1978 through 2020. We come back, more of high school football Alabama's after the game as we roll on a Football Friday night.
The Coosa Valley, on the banks of the Coosa River in Gadsden, Alabama. Fishing, boating, and paddling, and home to Team One Chevrolet. Team One Chevy has been serving generations for years. Even the grandkids are grown. Come by and see why so many people come back to Team One Chevy in Gadsden.
Home of the best people, the best service, period.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
The game-winning touchdown.
A goal line stand.
The perfect catch. The perfect stop.
These are the moments that move you, but when a sports injury puts you on the sidelines, it's our job to get you moving again.
Anderson Orthopedic Associates is the longest-standing orthopedic practice in East Alabama, providing exceptional care to thousands of athletes.
Shaping the next generation of legends.
Dedicated to what moves you.
Addison Orthopedic Associates, 8 a.m. Saturday Sports Injury Clinic. Every football season Saturday, 701 Layton Avenue, 3rd floor, Tyler Center.
We're excited to announce that starting this April, we'll be entering into the cabinet business. With that in mind, we're going to change our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond encompasses everything that we do in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welberg Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
We live in a world that moves quickly, and while we are able to connect faster than ever through technology, maybe you've noticed that real connection is hard to come by. Parker Memorial Baptist Church offers you a place to connect, a place to learn more about Jesus and the difference He can make in your life, a place to build relationships with like-minded believers, or maybe discover what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ, a place to use the gifts and talents God has given you, a place where we love God and we love you. Parker Memorial Baptist Church, 1205 Quintard Avenue, Anniston. Visit our website for details.
High school football Alabama's after the game. Time to go back to our USA Softball of Alabama scoreboard. We have all the final scores from here in East Alabama and the big statewide games as well. Highlights of this game coming in overtime. Piedmont gets a 2-point conversion. They beat Hoax Bluff 22-21. Piedmont headed to the Class 3A state playoffs. Jacksonville beat White Plains tonight 62-0. Highlights of that game coming from Golden Eagle Stadium. Oxford beat Center Point tonight 35-14. We'll have highlights of that game from Lamar Field. And standing by, he's in the house, ready to go. In our next segment, we've got the head coach of the Oxford Yellow Jackets, Coach Sam Adams, standing by. Walter Welborn in a wild game tonight at Sachs. They beat the Wildcats tonight 62-34. Another wild game took place at the Pit in Heflin tonight, where Anniston had to come from behind, hanging on to beat Cleveland County late tonight in Heflin. 38-36 tonight was the final. Ohatchee falls out of the Class 3A state playoffs by virtue of Piedmont's win over Hoax Bluff. Plainview beats Ohatchee tonight up in Rainsville 34-18. The Indians end the season at 5-5. Highlights of this game coming. Also, the head coach of the Alexandria Valley Cubs, Todd Ginn, will be with us live right here on After the Game. Alexandria ends the season with a win tonight. They beat Talladega 50-15 at Death Valley. Highlights of that game on the way. Beulah is going to the Class 3A state playoffs. One of the biggest wins for the Beulah Bobcats in a long time. They win at Weaver tonight. They beat the Bearcats out at Bill Bryan Stadium 38-31. Tough loss tonight for Jacksonville Christian. This was the semifinals of the Christian Football Association. JCA loses at home to Tuscaloosa Christian 56-48. They had beaten TCA earlier in the year, but not tonight. Tuscaloosa Christian wins 56-48. Highlights of that game coming from Tommy Miller Field. Pleasant Valley getting ready for the 2A playoffs. They beat Gaston 50-20 tonight. Ranburne and Central of Coosa score over 100 tonight. Ranburne wins at Hanover 64-39. Isabella over Woodland 54-14 tonight. Randolph County clinches home field advantage in the 3A playoffs. They win tonight at home over Dadeville 32-22. Handley beats Munford tonight 35-14. We will have highlights of that game coming your way from Munford Stadium. Wadley, a region champion, cruising tonight over Talladega County Central on the road, 47-0. Central of Clay County, the 350th win in the career of one Danny Horn. And Central Clay County beats Russell County 30-14. We're going to show you some pictures of Coach Horn and a special thing they did for him down at Clay Central a little bit later on tonight. BB Comer last night, the #1 team in Class 2A, rolling over Fayetteville 49-0. Also last night, Winterboro clinched a playoff spot. Winterboro is going to the Class 1A state playoffs as Winterboro won over Victory Christian by a score of 53-28 last night, and that game played down at Winterboro. There's that score. Here's another score from last night. For the second time in a week, Alabama beats Tennessee. Alabama School for the Deaf beating Tennessee School for the Deaf in Knoxville last night, 52-8 the final. Leeds creating a three-way tie in Class 5A Region 6 with their win over Lincoln tonight, 30-14. Last night, double overtime, Pinson Valley beats Pell City at Willie Adams Stadium in Pinson, 41-38 in double OT last night. Tonight, Moody beats Southside. Southside could have wrapped up the region championship tonight. Now we're going to go to tiebreaker games next week with non-region play. Number 8 Moody beating number 5 Southside tonight, 34-21 at Moody. Springville is going to the 5A playoffs. They win tonight. Loser was in. I should say the winner was in, loser was out. Springville wins at St. Clair County to earn a playoff berth, 42-13. Cherokee County rolls over Asheville tonight, 56-7. Spring Garden and Ragland, we will have highlights of this game coming from Spring Garden tonight. This was for home field advantage in the Class 1A state playoffs. Spring Garden beating Ragland tonight, 42-27. Sandrock, their season ended tonight with a loss in Huntsville to Whitesburg Christian, 38-22. Last night, Valley Head, they're going to be at home in the 1A playoffs. They wrapped that up with a 53-14 win over Galesville last night. Great game tonight at Cedar Bluff at LD Bruce Field. Cedar Bluff over Appalachian 21-16. Geraldine pounds Glencoe tonight at Glencoe 54-7. Sylvania wrapping up an undefeated season in region play as they're the region champions in 3A Region 6. They win at Rainbow City tonight against Westbrook Christian 30-7. Coosa Christian headed for the Class 1A state playoffs as the number 3 team in Class 1A Region 7. They win tonight at home in Gadsden against Woodville, 51-0. Gadsden City, a region champion. They ended their regular season tonight. They have an open date next week. They'll be in the 6A playoffs. They beat Calera 46-0. Coleman, a winner over Etowah tonight, 42-10 at Coleman. Locust Fork, first undefeated season in school history tonight as the Hornets come into Walnut Grove and they beat West End 51-12. Gunnersville, after that upset loss to Arab last week, They routed Sardis tonight at Sardis 55-0. Here's the big games around the state of Alabama. In Class 1A in the South, number 1 defending state champion Leroy beating Milry 26-0 tonight. Also in 1A in Northwest Alabama, number 6 Lynn wrapped up a region title with a 47-20 win over the South Lamar Stallions. Reeltown and Highland Home lived up to the hype tonight. In Class 2A, Reeltown wins it over the Flying Squadron 21-14. Number 1 Mobile Christian routing Thomasville tonight in Mobile 45-14. Catholic of Montgomery beats number 1 ranked and defending state champion in 4A Andalusia tonight 27-14. The final in that one. Gulf Shores, number 1 team in the state in 5A. They beat Viger tonight badly down in Gulf Shores, 42-12 the final. 5A in Northwest Alabama, it was Russellville beating Fairview. That was by a score of 31-14. And the big game in 6A tonight, number 1 Saraland at home. They had no problems with number 9 Theodore, 42-13, the final score in that game tonight. Let's tell you about Ted's Floors and Beyond. We're about to show you our reigning team of the week, brought to you by Ted's Floors and Beyond. They now offer cabinets from Welborn Cabinet. They are now your home for a complete kitchen or bathroom makeover. They have not only the tile and the carpet, but now they have the cabinets and the countertops. 0% financing for 12 months, all day, every day. ShopTeds.com. Let's talk about now the team of the week, as we talked about. Our Team of the Week video, and we're going to go to that in just a couple of moments as we're going to take you down to Munford, our reigning Ted's Floors and Beyond Team of the Week. We were showing you we were there at Munford earlier in the day with our Player of the Week. Well, this is our Anniston Orthopedic score shirt showing Munford beating White Plains last week 36-28 in overtime. They got not only the shirts, you see Kathy there from Ted's with the Ted shirts, but also the Anniston Orthopedics score shirts. Cole from Ted's Floors and Beyond there with our Tough Guy trophy from Awards to Remember to present that to the team there as well. So we want to thank Ted's again. All the hospitality from Coach Michael Easley and the folks down at Munford today. A spirited pep rally on senior night there at Munford as we were able to present the trophy to the team there. They were sitting up on the stage. They had a big senior day video and a huge win last week for Munford with a goal line stand 36-28 over White Plains, our reigning Ted's Floors and Beyond Team of the Week. And we will have our next Ted's Floors and Beyond Team of the Week announcement coming up in about an hour and a half, somewhere along in there here on After the Game. All right, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty now with our Farmers and Merchants Bank Spirit Scholarship Contest. We're giving away $3,000 in college scholarships. We're giving away thousands of dollars in gift cards. And we're down to our last 3 schools. The voting will open up in 1 hour and 20 minutes. So let's go to our next 3 schools here. Our final 3 schools. We'll begin with the Donahoe School, and they have 2 female athletes and 2 male athletes that you can vote for. You go to our Facebook page at High School Football Alabama Facebook page, and you'll be able to vote. Just click or like on the picture there. Here are the 2 female athletes. Estella Cannell. She is a volleyball, track, and field athlete with a 4.1 GPA. Our other female athlete from the Donahoe School is Erin Turley, soccer and indoor track with a 3.8 GPA. Also, on the male side of things, we've got Ryan Crawford, a basketball, track, and tennis player with a 4.0 GPA. And the other male athlete from Donahoe is Hayes Farrell, a football, basketball, and baseball player with a 3.6 GPA. Now, we're going to take you to Jacksonville Christian Academy. Their 2 female nominees are Aubrey Haynes, a cheerleader with a 4.0 GPA. The other female athlete from JCA is Riley Sanders, cheer, volleyball, basketball, and softball with a perfect 4.0 GPA. The 2 male athletes from JCA, we got Travis Barnhill, a football, basketball, and baseball player with a 2.75 GPA. And the other male athlete from Jacksonville Christian Academy is Dion Dupree, a football and baseball player with a 2.8 GPA. And finally, our final school this year is Walter Welborn. The 2 female athletes from Walter Welborn, the nominees are Micaiah Amberson, a basketball and cheerleader with a 3.8 GPA. Also, we have Gracie Lewis, a softball and volleyball player with a 4.0 GPA. We also have 2 male athletes from Walter Welborn. basketball player Avery Odom with a 3.17 GPA, and also Noah Screws. He's the quarterback on the Wellborn football team, a football and wrestling star as well, with a 3.61 GPA. And those are the athletes that you can vote for. 19 schools, every school in Calhoun and in Cherokee counties. And these 3 schools you can vote for starting at midnight tonight. It's about an hour and 18 minute away or so when we open up the voting at High School Football Alabama Facebook page. And that voting will be open from midnight tonight till 12 noon next Friday, November the 3rd. And then we will narrow down, at that point in time, we'll have narrowed from 76 student athletes to 38. And next Friday night, we're going to begin voting for the final 2 that will each receive a $1,500 college scholarship from Farmers and Merchants Bank. Speaking of Farmers and Merchants Bank, they bring you the Player of the Week, they bring you the Spirit Scholarship, and they have given over $24,000 in scholarships to local high school students in the past 6 years. 5 locations now: Piedmont, Jacksonville, Anniston, Oxford, and now in Center as well. We're going to come back just a little bit later on. We're going to show you some great game-ending action. We got the head coach of the Oxford Yellow Jackets coming up next. That is Sam Adams. He is live in studio. And we also are going to show you some great highlights from up at Piedmont, as well as we'll have the game-winning touchdown pass in overtime. We're going to show you all that from up at Piedmont from the Field of Champions as high school football Alabama rolls on a Football Friday night.
The game-winning touchdown.
A goal line stand.
The perfect catch.
The perfect stop.
These are the moments that move you, but when a sports injury puts you on the sidelines, it's our job to get you moving again.
Anniston Orthopedic Associates is the longest standing orthopedic practice in East Alabama, providing exceptional care to thousands of athletes.
Shaping the next generation of legends.
Dedicated to what moves you.
Anniston Orthopedic Associates, 8 a.m. Saturday Sports Injury Clinic. Every football season Saturday, 701 Layton Avenue, 3rd floor, Tyler Center.
There's a lot to think about when you're having a baby. Colors of the nursery, names, and most importantly, where to deliver.
We want a hospital that gives families a more personalized birthing experience.
With a compassionate team of doctors and nurses, and a hospital where my baby and I could instantly bond with all the comforts of home.
So where do we find all that?
Right here at RMC, the first designated baby-friendly hospital in Alabama.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston.
We're excited to announce that starting this April, we'll be entering into the cabinet business. With that in mind, we're going to change our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond encompasses everything that we do in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welber Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
What does it mean to be a community bank? At Noble Bank and Trust, it means you're more than an account number, you're a valued member of our community. Whether it's checking, savings, a loan, mortgage, or line of credit, Noble Bank and Trust meets all your banking needs with exceptional technology customized just for you while making you feel right at home. Make the switch to Noble Bank and Trust, and we will make sure you're taken care of from beginning to end. Noble Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Terry Howell, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
Pee Wee Turner Motors, South Quintard Avenue in Anniston. PeeWeeTurnerMotors.net. They go all the way back to 1969 with quality late model vehicles. Also, not only can you find a great car down there, but also they can rent a car. You can rent a Penske moving truck or a Cruise America RV. Visit them tomorrow. It's going to be a great day. 85 degrees, summertime. 512 South Quintard Avenue in Anniston. Pee Wee Turner Motors bringing you high school football Alabamas before the game. Presented by the folks at the Calhoun County Commission. John Holder back with you. Chad Barnett will be along. Coach Michael Short's with us, and the head coach of the Oxford Yellow Jackets joins us this time, Coach Sam Adams. Coach, your team tonight winning over Center Point. Not only a big win on senior night, 35-14 over the Eagles, but more importantly, you wrapped up home field advantage, as we talked about earlier in the week. That is big, especially in Class 6A.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, anytime we can play a home game in Oxford, Alabama, it's a big advantage for us. And you know, when you get in this November and hopefully December kind of games, the stakes only get higher. And you know, we're fortunate that we've played well enough to earn that opportunity.
Coach, let's talk through the game tonight. You jumped out to a 14-0 lead. Center Point, to their credit, they come in and they made it close at halftime. Some dicey moments there a little bit early in the third quarter, but your team did what good football teams do. You kind of pulled away and kind of slammed the door there in the second half.
Yeah, that was really what I was most proud of. There was a stretch there early fourth quarter, late third quarter or so where we really lost the momentum. We had gotten up 21, we were up 21-8 at one point. They score, cut it 21-14, and then we didn't field the ensuing kickoff. So they beat us to the ball down there, and now all of a sudden they're down 7 with all the momentum, and they're on about the 25-yard line. But our defense really stepped up and got a 4 and out, and then we go down and score offensively and really kind of, in effect, end the game right there. So hopefully that's an experience that we can kind of look back on and apply later on in the playoffs.
Coach, and speaking of the playoffs coming up, now you know you're going to be at home, as we alluded to, in the first round of the playoffs in 2 weeks. You know who you're going to play. You got Athens coming in. Just not to disparage other classifications, but in 6A, there are no easy games in the playoffs. No. And to be at home and to keep that number 2 seed, and potentially down the road as you run into maybe another 3s and 4s, you're going to be guaranteed to be at home having that higher seed. Tell us about the importance in your mind, in 6A especially, of having that home field advantage in the playoffs.
Yeah, you know, I think the 6A bracket every year, in my opinion, is the hardest one to win from the standpoint of there's probably about 10 teams in 6A that are good enough to win the state championship if they get a break here or there and get a good matchup here or there. So, I mean, really, the Athens team, I haven't studied them at all, but I have looked at their scores, and I mean, they're going to be probably an 8-2 team. I mean, that's pretty tough for a 3 seed, you know. So by no means are they a slouch. I know they've put up a lot of numbers throwing the ball this year and have scored a whole lot of points. And I mean, each week, really, you're playing against a team that could be a contender if you know, if a certain bounce goes for the other team, you know. So you know, it's important really to get that first round home game, and it looks like either way we would be on the road in the second round. You know, we don't want to look ahead in the bracket and all that kind of stuff. But you know, we talked a lot to our seniors going into senior night tonight about, you know, earning another opportunity to get a home game and not let this be the last. And you know, I think that meant something to them tonight. And you know, after the game, those guys are really overjoyed that we get another opportunity to go out there and play in front of our home crowd.
You know, you mentioned something a while ago, Coach, about some of the things that happened to you tonight. You may be able to carry them over into somewhere in the playoffs. I'm going to rewind back a couple of weeks ago. We talked about it a while ago. I think one of the, and I haven't seen you every week, but I believe it was a series there where it may have turned your season around. Coming right off the game at most shows up there where you got beat, when you're ahead and you get beat, and them things happen. But you know, those kids were heartbroken. And then the drive. The drive at the end of the game to beat Pell City. To me, that was a drive that could have changed your season. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think the team that we have this year, the 2023 version, is a very mature football team. You know, and I think everybody understands that the previous 2 years, we've played a lot of guys that probably were forced into action ahead of when they should have been out there. And we took some lumps because of that. I think now we're reaping the benefits of that. So we go to Hartselle, we're in control of the game. All of a sudden things kind of slip away from us. We lose the momentum, and we're not able to put together a drive to win the game at the end. And then you go to the next game at home against Pell City. It was a very similar situation. We were up 21-10.
Then all of a sudden they score and score again. And we put together a 16-play, 87, 88-yard drive and score with 30-something seconds to go, and still had 2 timeouts in our pocket. So it was a very methodical drive. Mason Mims had a he's not known for his
huge run.
Yeah, he's not known for his legs, but he converted a 4th and 6.
That's right.
And that was a lot was hanging in the balance right there.
And that'll make somebody else that sees that play.
Yeah.
Now we're going to have somebody in there to stop him.
Yeah, and Mason really, I think we don't ask him to do a lot of running, but he does move really well in the pocket, and he is really faster than a lot of people give him credit for. Yeah. We don't ask him to do that a whole lot, but as you get in the playoffs, you got to find some way to get a little edge. So who knows? Maybe lean on that a little bit in the weeks to come.
Well, it'll be something that you can use in the playoffs for sure.
Yeah. And really, tonight's game, we never fell behind score-wise, but we lost the momentum big time in that game where they cut it to 1 score and all of a sudden they got the ball in the red zone. So, I think as far as like having to make plays to swing the momentum back in our favor, we've done that twice now. And people kind of forget back at the first game of the year, the McAdoo game, that was a tie game in the 4th quarter, and we scored the last 10 points of the game to kind of separate ourselves. So, this group has shown that, they've got it in them to answer the bell.
And now, as coaches, you know who you can look at and say, all right, guys, it's up to you. You want to keep playing again? Now, y'all got to come through and get that drive or get that stop. I think your defense has gotten better and better each week, and they've really given y'all a chance to be able to get out there and score. Because if they don't make that stop, you don't get that ball back again there in the Pell City game.
Yeah,
I think they've played extremely well.
They have. And that's a lot of guys over there that, like I said, that have been on the field for 3 years now, and they're not necessarily a bunch of stars in the recruiting kind of world and all that kind of stuff. We have a lot of really good high school football players over there that play their guts out for Oxford.
Yeah, and that's so important.
It is.
To have those guys that are playing for Oxford.
Yep, that's right.
Coach, let's talk about this team, because every team, every coach talks about every team has a personality. How would you describe, you're 10 weeks into this thing now, so I imagine they've developed a personality. How would you describe the personality of this 2023 Oxford team?
The biggest thing that stands out to me about this team in that way would be something that people really don't see. It's just like how much joy they have in just being around each other. If you're going to make a deep run in this thing, the way that we do it and the way a lot of teams do it, you're spending a lot of time together in meeting time, locker room time, practice time, obviously, game time, travel, all that. And, honestly, there are some teams that I've had in the past that I didn't really know how much they liked each other across the board, But this
I've
group,
had those too.
Yeah, it's when you throw together 90 high school age males, sometimes it doesn't always end up the way you want it to. But this group seems like they have a lot of fun doing whatever the task is that's put in front of them. They prepare really well. They've shown great maturity when they've been faced with bad situations. And they take a lot of joy in just being together and being teammates for each other, celebrating other people's success. That's been a big step for us this year with this particular team that we maybe haven't had the last two years that I've been at Oxford. And that's a tough thing sometimes. Everybody wants the ball, everybody wants to be the star, everybody wants to score the touchdowns. I think when you see this team, if you see Kamari Hampton score a touchdown, Nick Richardson is the first one over there to congratulate him. You see, DK Wilson had a great night tonight. Jaden Thomas will be the first guy there, and those guys play the same position. And there's other examples of that. But they're willing to celebrate the success of their teammates, and I think that's a great show of maturity.
You're giving me names that when I was calling the radio 3 years ago, I guess they were all ninth graders. All these names you hear, and I remember that DK on the little pass to the slot down the touchdown pass you threw to him. Remember that? I remember those guys. They're growing up now.
They are.
And what's fun for you is you get to see them grow up right before your eyes.
Exactly. DK was one of those kids that played a lot as a freshman. And probably in most other years that wouldn't have been the case, but he was forced into it, and now he's one of our most explosive playmakers.
Let me ask you a question here, and this has changed since I was there 3 years ago doing the radio. Is the atmosphere at the stadium, the lights, the turf? Just give us an idea of what it's like for game day there, because you fans are really getting excited. The kids,
they are.
Now those cheerleaders are up there on that stand. That was a deal too, but just to me, and a lot of people on the sidelines are really pepping everybody up.
There are a lot of people on the sideline. So there's, we've tried to really be intentional about this. That really in today's day and age, I'm sure there are plenty of places out there where people are just going to show up for the football game regardless. But I think, in the cell phone age and the social media age and all that, you better be intentional about the atmosphere that you work to create at a high school football game. And so all the things that you just mentioned in there, we got the LED lights that we can do the light shows after big plays and touchdowns and all that. The turf, the facilities, upgraded speaker system inside the stadium. Our band this year with Mr. Bradbury, they are phenomenal. They are. And they play a huge part in the atmosphere of the Friday night game. So we've tried to be intentional, and I'm not taking credit for this. Other people, I've sat in the room with them while they came up with the ideas. But other people have made really great decisions to try to make that Friday night experience at Oxford something very special that is maybe different than a lot of other places that you'd see.
And that huge monstrosity of a building down there in the end zone don't hurt. I took a picture from the press box of just right before the game of that building. And I don't know how many likes I got on because I put it on social media and man, that looks beautiful. And it is. That's, as a coach, this, but that's for some schools, that's a little intimidating when they get in there and see all that and go, wow.
100%. And that's not lost on us and me as the head coach by any chance. Right before I went down to the field for warm-ups today, we had some kids that were already kind of out there, the specialists and quarterbacks and all that were already on the field. And me and Coach Taffley and Coach Cochran were just sitting in my office, and we just took a second and just kind of took it all in. The view from up there, you see the whole stadium in front of you. You see the mountains in the back. You look over to the right, and there's the indoor. And we have so many things that we can be grateful for. And that says a lot about our school system and our city of Oxford. And it's really allowing us to give the best experience possible for all of our student athletes.
Well, you've definitely been blessed.
Absolutely. That was, I put a post on Twitter or X or whatever it's called tonight.
Whatever.
That was the one word I put up there. I took a picture out my window and I just put blessed. It's, really the first night, we had to move into the new facility the week of our first game. The first home game was Huntsville. And when I sort of made that turn around and I could see the stadium opening up in front, it was emotional.
I'm sure.
Just knowing what we've
went through,
the situation that we've been through in the last 2 years.
Your trailer,
in a whole bunch of ways. Yeah,
the trailer park.
Getting to move out of my single wide into that was a huge deal.
That's right.
And the senior class that we have right now, they haven't had a field house. Since their freshman year.
And your visitors. The visitors were sitting over there under an oak tree and lighting.
It's really, I pinch myself every single day. We're very fortunate, and I'm lucky that and Oxford football was great way before I got there, and it's going to be great way after I leave. And we tell that to all of our coaches and players. We're just the ones that get to be stewards of Oxford football for the time being. So I'm super happy that I get to be the guy that sits in the big chair, and I think being the guy that was fortunate enough to be there during this transition period, is an experience that I'll forever be grateful for.
Well, if anything, as an old coach talking to a middle-aged coach, you have done a great job. You and your staff has done a great job, and you're just getting to be a part of something that you're going to be blessed with the rest of your life, and you're growing as a coach, being able to go through that building and being a part of a building of that facility.
For sure. And you said it to our coaching staff. I think we got the best coaching staff in the state, and that's really, again, a testimony to our school system, that they can do things to make it attractive for us to get top flight coaches in there. And truth be told, if you're going to make a run and win 6A or 7A,
you got to be.
You can't just have one good coach out there.
Every position.
You better, everybody, the depth of preparation that goes into making a playoff run in really at any level, but in 6A or 7A especially, you better have strong coaches at every single spot on the field. And if you have a chink in the armor, at some point it's going to pop up and get you. That's right. So, we have a large staff, and it's a lot of great men, first off. I think it's a group of men that I would love for my son to play for one day. And they're good football coaches on top of that. And that's, you got to be able to do both. You got to be a great person, But at the same time, being a great person, if you don't know a whole lot of football, that doesn't always get it done either.
No, he can go work on those lights.
That's right, exactly. But we're fortunate enough to have a lot of great men and great coaches.
That's right.
Coach, before we let you get out of here, we talk a lot about playoffs, looking to the future. Before you get there, though, there's kind of a unique game. It was a unique game last year. It's a unique game for our area. You're going to go to Golden Eagle Stadium in Jacksonville next Friday night to take on Jacksonville. You're ranked in the top 10 in the state in 6A. They're ranked in the top 10 in the state in Class 4A. Two great quarterbacks. Your quarterback, Mason Mims, of course. Everybody knows about Jim Ogle at Jacksonville. Just kind of your philosophy going in to this game. There'll be a lot of hype about this game coming up next week.
Yeah, and there should be. I think we're not going to fall in the trap of thinking that just because they're in a classification that happens to be lower than us, that they don't have a good team. I mean, that couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, you just look at the scores that they've put up in virtually every single game this year. I mean, they're lighting it up. I mean, and I know, Ogle's a great player, and he's not the only great player that they do have. I think he probably gets a lot of the press, but they got good receivers, they got good running backs.
Somebody's got to catch it.
That's right. And somebody's got to keep the D-line off of it.
That's right.
So, I mean, we'll have our work cut out for us for sure. We got a lot of respect for their program and their coaches and players and all that. So, I don't know when I scheduled it, I didn't quite know what I was getting into maybe, but having a local type game is definitely a good way to get the excitement going around the county.
I don't know where they're going to put them. That's going to be the big thing. Last question, Coach. Last question. I saw, we want to go back to the facilities, and I want to get something personal with you. I was down at the facility just yesterday, as a matter of fact. First time I had been in there. I'm just telling you, I was blown away. I want to know, you've settled in now a couple of months. I want to know, what is Sam Adams? What's your personal favorite thing about that facility? When you walk in there every day, what's the one thing that kind of stands out that you really like about that place?
I think just for me personally, when I can just take a seat at my desk, turn my chair in whichever direction, and I've got that view of the indoor behind us. I can take a couple steps out there, and I'm on the kind of catwalk overlooking all that. And then I turn it the other way, and you have the view that I mentioned earlier with the mountains in the background and the whole stadium out in front of you. And and it's not lost on me that there's 4 blue maps down there on the other end of the stadium on display. And that's something that's always there. So that's what we're shooting for in the long run. And I could sit up here and talk for an hour about all the things I love about that facility, but that particular one spot in the building for me is one that really just kind of takes my breath away every time I walk in there.
Good stuff. Coach, congratulations on the win tonight. Obviously, we'll be there next week at Jacksonville at Golden Eagle Stadium. We'll be there when you come back home to take on Athens in the 6A playoffs. Best wishes to you and your team. Thank you for being with us here on our Noble Bank and Trust post-game presser on this football Friday night. Head coach of the Oxford Yellow Jackets, Coach Sam Adams, winners tonight over Center Point, locking up that home field advantage in the 6A playoffs. They win the game 35-14. Coming up next, we talk Alexandria High School football. Coach Short, there it is. The Valley Dog, Todd Ginn, and some other surprise special guests standing by as after the game rolls on a football Friday night presented by the Calhoun County Commission.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
We live in a world that moves quickly, and while we are able to connect faster than ever through technology, maybe you've noticed that real connection is hard to come by. Parker Memorial Baptist Church offers you a place to connect, a place to learn more about Jesus and the difference He can make in your life, a place to build relationships with like-minded believers, or maybe discover what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. A place to use the gifts and talents God has given you. A place where we love God and we love you. Parker Memorial Baptist Church, 1205 Quintard Avenue, Anniston. Visit our website for details.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
After 15 years of supplying top quality, name brand sports equipment and team apparel to hundreds of Alabama schools, coaches, and athletes, and continuing to provide custom uniforms, embroidery, and screen printing, Team Sports is adding a new player. Coming soon, McClellan Sports and Outdoors. Whether you're an athlete in search of football helmets, bats, or even cleats, or an outdoor enthusiast in search of apparel from top brands, McClellan Sports and Outdoors has you covered. Visit McClellansports.com for more information.
The Coosa Valley, on the banks of the Coosa River in Gadsden, Alabama. Fishing, boating, and paddling, and home to Team One Chevrolet. Team One Chevy has been serving generations for years. Even the grandkids are grown. Come by and see why so many people come back to Team One Chevy in Gadsden.
Home of the best people, the best service, period.
High school football, Alabama's After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission on this football Friday night. We are coming to you from the RMC Media Center at Parker Memorial Baptist Church on Quintard Avenue in Midtown Anniston. RMC, great supporters of high school football and high school football Alabama. If you're looking for primary care, they've got the right care in Anniston, in Oxford, in Jacksonville, and in Roanoke. Learn more at rmccares.org/family medicine. Back on After the Game on this football Friday night, head coach of the Alexandria High School Valley Cubs, Coach Todd Ginn, joined us. Coach, glad to have you back with us again on the show. Coach Short back here with us tonight. Alexandria wins tonight over Talladega. Coach, 50-15 tonight out of Death Valley. Tell us about the win for your football team.
Yeah, you know, we anybody that keeps up with us, you know, Alexandria football this year, we're young, we're rebuilding, and just really, really happy tonight to get a win for the kids. You know, we're playing a lot of young guys, and to just see, I told some folks this week, I thought we had the best two practices all year on Tuesday and Wednesday, and it showed up tonight to play well. The last game of the year was good for us.
Sometimes when you win a lot, you kind of take it for granted, I think, sometimes. And then when you have a season like this, one of the positives I think about a season like this, Coach, is it accentuates how fun winning is when you win a game like you did tonight, and how important winning is. And sometimes it's not always easy to win. Sometimes you have a lot of challenges. You had a lot of challenges with your team this year. But as Gene Stallings used to always say, the fun is in the winning, and your guys had a lot of fun tonight. I'm sure.
Yeah, you know, that's what it's all about. You know, we get spoiled a lot of times, like you said, and we just get used to winning, you know, and this is the first time. That's what I sat back and said, this is the first time in 18 years that I've been a head coach, basketball or football, that I knew this was the last game, you know, no playoffs. So that was a weird deal, but we got to go ahead and take care, because Coach, you'll probably, I hate that part of it, the last game where you're expecting to win. Nobody expects to lose in the playoffs. You've got that mindset, we're going to go win, we're going to find a way. And then after the deflation of a loss in the playoffs, you've got to go in there and try to get your thoughts together and tell these kids how much they mean to you, and go through that when you're not prepared to, really. Well, yesterday, I got to go ahead and go through that with our team. And then, you know, tonight to finish off with a win. You know, just so much building that's happening with us. We got so close. I think at the Lincoln game early in the season, we fumbled the ball with about 3.5 minutes left, and we're up. And if we finish that, I think you see us win 2 or 3 more games. But, you know, whoever made our schedule this year, Coach.
I don't know who that guy was. You need to talk to him.
Yeah, but to run into Jacksonville's got a great team this year. I'm thinking Cleveland County. I'm saying Cherokee County Center's got a really good team this year. They're probably the most physical team we played this year, the very first game of the year. And I should have known. When they called asking to play in this weird transition year, you know, I should have known that. And I kind of did, but, man, it was so hard to make a schedule. We only had 9 games, and I said, man, we got to play some folks, and we want to play. So, and then, you know, I think 6 of the teams that we played this year were top 10 teams.
Central.
I mean, Central. Yeah.
Who did that?
Coach Horn said.
We're not going to be good.
Coach Horn said we're going to be just like y'all, you know, for the next 2 years. Well, last year it was. Last year I thought it was a really good game between us and them. It was a great game. But this year, he had a few more dudes than we had.
Yeah.
You know. Just being honest, and he knew he did.
He's going to have it for the next 2 years too.
That front line he had was stout. I think back to our year, and 2 teams stick out to me that their defensive line, Central and Leeds. Leeds' defensive line and Central's defensive line. I mean, Coach, when those guys just take you, and throw you, and
you can't trap them, Coach.
You're saying we can't jet them out. They're fast as we are, and we can't block them out. So I don't know what we're going to do. Those two teams in the defensive line are really, really good.
Coach, I know a few things about Todd Ginn. One thing I know about Todd Ginn is immediately, probably even tonight, certainly after the weekend goes, you are going to be going to work.
Yes.
Because this season, I think everybody knows you and knows Alexandria football, knows this is an aberration. This is a rare thing that happened. And I know you're going to work in this offseason. You got a young team. A lot of these guys are coming back. I know you're going to be working to get this thing back to where it was.
Right.
And so tell us about that process. Tell us about, in your mind, what's the offseason look like at Alexandria?
Well, the process is pretty simple. I mean, you have got to build confidence in kids, especially after, and this is a place we haven't been because we've always been pretty confident. But after a year like this, you have to, I told those guys, our JV bunch, we go and play a couple of JV games, and we just look like a totally different team. Confidence. But confidence comes through one thing. And that's the thing that nobody wants to do. Nobody wants to really, people want to talk about winning and love winning, but confidence is built through working your tail off. And like you said, I'm going to go to work real soon. And we're going to go to work real soon.
I do that.
Let me tell you something you don't know. Several years ago, we were struggling. And there's a man named Larry Ginn. He come up to me and he said, Coach, let me remind you something. He said, you want to change this, you want to change that, you want to do this, you want to do that. He said, stick with your core values. Mm-hmm. You stick with your core values and everything's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. So, buddy, from your daddy to me and to you, you stick with those core values and you're already talking about it right now.
Yeah, I think a lot about Dad, and I think you know, just like you said, that's just wisdom. You're shooting right back at me as core values. And a lot of people think in a losing season that you somehow got away from that. You know what I mean? But, you know, sometimes in those struggling seasons, you feel like you work harder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, there were times where I said, man, our staff is doing all we can do to try to get this win, and it feels like somewhere in the process, the wheel just falls. We turn over. We don't tackle, you know. But you're still, like you said, that's such wisdom, because we're going to go back and make sure that we build confidence the right way, not the fake way, but through work, you know, and we're going to work.
Sometimes humbling will do.
Oh, come on now.
Humbling will do something to you, don't it?
Humble pie, I've had enough of it. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I don't want any more.
Coach, you mentioned scheduling. You don't have total control over that. About 70% of it comes from down in Montgomery, at the HSA office, and that is December 18th. reclassification. So what do you think? What's your kind of your vibe on reclassification, how that's going to go for Alexandria?
Well, I think last time we thought we were 4A. I think this time we will be. So then, where do you fall? Where do they put us?
North or south?
You know, where do they put us? And you know, you look at it, and I know y'all look at it, and you're like, how in the world? How in the world is Jacksonville in the South? I think with us going 4A and some other things, you're probably going to see. I think back to the regions, the old regions, where I think we're going to probably be in the north, but I think you're going to see some restructuring of how. Like I said, I don't know. We may end up being in the south
because of Jacksonville moving.
Right, Jacksonville. You know, I would think. I don't know. I hear people from Jacksonville say they're going to be 4A again, but then you hear others say they're going to be 5. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I don't know what some of those teams will do, and then we can't make a schedule till the 18th.
Yep, that's right.
You know, we don't know who's going to be in our region. Therefore, I've got a couple of calls out, and we're going, hey, if I'm in the north and you're in the south, we can play. You know, but
you don't know if you're going to be in a 7-team or 8-team.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing too, because both of those regions, 4A regions, right, and just like ours, we've got a couple of 5A regions in the north that only have 7 teams, which puts you in a big bind scheduling because you've got those open. I'll tell you what I will not do again, and I've just made my mind. Week 0, no.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just such a vital. We've always played a jamboree there, and it's so vital to me to go ahead and play that jamboree game week 0, and that's just me, you know, personally, because I used to say, and I said this year we'll just play that week 0, but when you play a veteran team like Center, who's pretty good week 0, and you've got some young guys that you're trying to build confidence with, that's not a good scenario. So I think we'll go back to playing week 1 through 10 and use week 0 as a jamboree.
Play that jamboree, get a little experience, then play game 1, and then make the biggest improvements you make.
Right.
Game 1 to game 2.
Game 2. Yeah, that's what you want to do. Get that jamboree, play game 1, then make the biggest adjustment for the region game coming up.
Coach, before I let you get out here, we're going to look at some highlights of the game tonight. But then we got a special treat for some folks out there that are Alexandria fans and maybe not Alexandria fans that listen in on Friday nights on the Big 95. Looking at highlights of your game tonight, we're going to bring some special guests into the studio right now. Coach, looking at some highlights of the game tonight, and it's always a good feeling. I mean, you know, I've been there before myself and things like that where just you're having that tough season, but you get that one taste of victory. Football, Coach, is such a hard sport. It's such a hard sport to not go a Friday night without that good feeling of, you know, coming home and, you know, that you won the game and things like that. Then, you know, you had that feeling tonight. That was an awesome win for your football team tonight, 50-15, as you win the game over Talladega tonight. Well, we're looking at some highlights of that game, and we're going to bring it back here. We've got some guys that you hear on Friday nights. You may not see these guys on Friday nights, but you certainly hear these guys coming up on Friday nights on the Big 95, and that is our crew. There they are right there. You can listen to them on 95.3 FM, and we've got all kind of guys that are coming here. They're going to bring it back to us here at the set after we look at some highlights of that game. We just thought that this is I guess probably the longest. I know you are. This is Robert Smith, by the way, from Awards to Remember. Landry Roberts, Jordan Smith, who's our director and does a fantastic job directing this show on Friday nights. But he also pulls double duty on Fridays and does the color commentary on the show. So, Coach, I want to begin with you. I go back to I've been doing this a long time. And many Friday nights, late at night, I'd be listening to the Alexandria replay back when your dad was coaching, and listening to Robert Smith and these guys calling the game. Tell us about this connection between Alexandria football and Alexandria on the radio for how many years, Robert?
36.
36 years.
Yeah, it's such a cool thing, you know. When you think back, people don't understand that dynamic that you just talked about. A lot of these kids have no clue that we used to play the game, and then a lot of us could not wait to get home to hear the playback of him call the game, because especially, you know, I think back to those games, Heflin games.
Yeah.
You know, T.R. Miller. I mean, games that you're like, man, I cannot wait to go. We used to go to Shoney's. Daddy takes Shoney's or Pizza Hut way back in the day, you know, and we would go. If we won, we were going to eat. And I remember driving the truck and listening to Robert and them on the radio and just their excitement, because you knew what was about to happen, the build-up. Now, you know, it's live, and I can, you know, I've been lucky enough to be with them, you know, up there before, and it's just, you know, live. I'm sure it's awesome to get to do it live and everybody hear you. But I used to love the playbacks. I used to love them, and every now and then he'll still send me a playback of things they do now. But these guys, man, they do a great job. I put them up against anybody calling on Friday nights, man. They do a great job.
I would too. Robert, step in here. Right. Voice of the Valley Cubs, 36, and that's 36 consecutive years, right?
Yes, it is.
Tell us about it.
Well, it's been quite a ride. You know, I've often said that I'm very blessed for being able to see a lot of great Alexandria football. Started in Todd's dad, coach. I still coach. We got a bunch of Coach Gins, but you know, the Coach Gins, Coach Gins, second season as a head coach. You know, all that run through the 90s, a great run. 2003 to 2006, 4 consecutive trips to the state semifinals, and then through the Frank Tucker's 11 seasons, and then this guy who's just stepped right in there and let us know what Alexandria football is all about. I've got the best seat in the house, and I really enjoy it.
Robert, I'm going to get you to introduce these two guys to the folks out there that they listen to on Friday nights. People are putting faces with names right now, but you know, I think, you know, when I listen to Alexandria football, and you have become a tradition, you become a part of Alexandria football, and I think of Alexandria football, and it's not long down the list that I start thinking about, like you said, Coach, Valley Cub. On the radio, yeah. Robert Smith, 36 years, kind of like he's the Eli Gold or whatever of Alexandria football. What's it meant to you to be, you just rattled off all those great moments in Alexandria and just to be such a big part of the history of Alexandria football?
You know, I never dreamed that, you know, it would do this for this long, but, you know, I tell people that one thing is, you know, you cut my finger, I bleed orange and black, that's for sure. But I also tell folks that, you know, Alexandria is a special place, and a lot of people, you know, a lot of communities are special places, but Alexandria definitely is a special place. And you know, I just feel like I've been there my entire life since I went to school there, graduated, and I tell people I've just never left. I really never have left the school, and it's just great to be a part of it and to be part of this tradition, and just so many things. Like I said a moment ago, I'm just blessed.
Robert, tell us about these two guys right here, your partners on Friday nights.
Well, we'll start with the guy to your right. Jordan Smith is now in season number 6 as the color analyst on the broadcast, and also as our technology guru. I know he helps you guys out.
I know about that, I'm telling you.
And does a great job. And then Landry Roberts has joined the broadcast this year. Landry played center and linebacker, 2004 and 05?
Yeah, it's been a while.
And so Landry has joined the broadcast, and I think it's just been seamless this year. He helps the guys out during the week, helps volunteer coach, and so he gives us a little insight into what goes on during the week, and that's been real helpful as well.
Jordan and Landry, I want to bring your perspective in because these are all Alexandria guys now. Yeah. Alexandria the core. So what did it mean to you, Jordan, to join up? I mean, I'm sure as a kid growing up, you listened to this legend right here, and then to be actually in the booth broadcasting Alexandria football with that guy.
Yeah, I want to say it was, you know, obviously I was shooting video when I was in high school and things like that, and I always looked up at the radio booth, and, you know, I was like, I want to do that. Well, kind of took me a different direction. I started doing PA, filling in for Brad Burgess here and there, and then I think I might have actually came into the booth that one day and said, hey, if you ever need any help, let me know. Well, that started with 2 games. I think that was Gunnersville and Douglas that year. And then, lo and behold, everything happens where it's like he calls me and goes, hey, you want to do this full time? This was kind of like a trial run. And I didn't know that it was going to be he and I were going to start at the same time, and that's kind of a moment for me that, of course, I had him in high school too, so, so it was one of those things, like he and I would go back to even Gadsden State. So it was a surreal moment to be able to come on and do it with Robert, and then also start with Todd.
And Lance, you have a unique perspective as well, because you played for the Valley Cubs. I'm getting old enough. I remember all these guys playing. Even Coach Ginn, remember when he played. And but what does it mean from a player and now to be in the booth and actually calling these games?
Man, I honestly don't know how I got here. I feel like I don't deserve it, truly, because like you said, I listened to him. It was awesome to hear, hey, I heard Robert call your name out, you made a tackle or whatever. So, and also just to be able to do anything to give back to the program that did so much for me. Coach and I talk about it a lot. Anything we can do to draw positive attention to the kids, that's what we want to do. So it means a lot to me to be able to give a little bit back in that way, because Alexandria they did so much for me, from Coach Ginn all the way down, and I feel like I owe them everything.
All right, Robert, before we let you guys get out of here, tell folks how they can tune in and listen in future years and things like that, and Valley Cub football.
95.3, the Big 95 WHMA has been our home for almost 20 years now, I guess. And then also can catch us on Facebook Live as well. So I hope folks will enjoy join us and listen to us. And that's what we said when we kind of signed off the broadcast. This is the last one for 2023, but next August, hey, we'll be right back there ready to go again.
These guys I'm telling you, they're good.
They are.
They're really, really good. I think about they're the carburetor, man. They just keep everything running smooth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just what they do. They make our job easier. They make a season like this on the radio even sound okay. You know what I mean? And that's hard to do sometimes.
The trick to that is talk about football, you talk about food, you talk about Robert's shoes. You talk about a little bit of everything.
Yeah, but they stay right. That's one thing these guys can't say enough. They reach out to me and tell me and encourage. And, it's just, they mean a lot to me.
Coach, last thing. I think you brought some Valley Dogs tonight, and as I understand it, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes over here, but I think Sam Adams, head coach at Oxford, I think he got his first Valley Dog. Is that right?
When he started talking about all their facilities, I said, look, Coach, we got that.
But they don't have a Valley Dog.
They don't have a goat pasture behind one end zone, and they don't have Valley Dogs.
And he got his first taste of a Valley Dog tonight.
We wouldn't have it any other way, man. We have good Valley Dogs. There was a buzz all day today. Me and Landry, these guys could feel it tonight, and Valley Dogs, I'm sure, were great. I didn't eat them because they fed us. It's been a good day today.
Todd Ginn, head coach of the Alexandria Valley Cubs, our Valley Cub radio broadcast crew through the years. Robert Smith, Landry Roberts, Jordan Smith, and just a great bunch of guys here with us on High School Football Alabama's After the Game. We'll be back in just a moment.
Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
the Coosa Valley, on the banks of the Coosa River in Gadsden, Alabama. Fishing, boating, and paddling, and home to Team One Chevrolet. Team One Chevy has been serving generations for years. Even the grandkids are grown. Come by and see why so many people come back to Team One Chevy in Gadsden.
Home of the best people, the best service, period.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston.
We're excited to announce that starting this April, we'll be entering into the cabinet business. With that in mind, we're going to change our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond encompasses everything that we do in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welberg Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
We have been loaded tonight in the Noble Bank and Trust postgame presser. First, we had the head coach of the Oxford Yellow Jackets, Sam Adams. Then we had the head coach of the Alexandria Valley Cubs, Coach Todd Ginn, and the Alexandria radio crew all with us. But let's tell you about Noble Bank. They're community owned and a community bank. What's that mean? Well, it means you're a person, you're a face, you're a name. When you walk into one of the branches here in East Alabama, more than just an account number, all decisions are made locally, and they give back to our community more than any bank our size. Noble Bank and Trust bringing you our Noble Bank and Trust post-game pressers with all of our special guests on here each and every Friday night. Well, this is the game. This is maybe the game of the year. This may be the play of the year right here. The Piedmont Bulldogs in overtime trying to win it to go to the playoffs. Cole Wheeler to Luke Reinhardt muscles his way into the end zone, and Piedmont wins the game at the Field of Champions tonight to make the state playoffs in Class 3A Region 6. A tough loss to Oaks Bluff, but the Eagles are still in the playoffs as well. Anyway, our very own Chad Bardette, who joins us for the first time tonight. Chad was at the game shooting that video. Chad, you called me. You said, I got to stay. This thing's going. At the time you called me, it was like 4:40 to go. Yep. It was tied 14-14. You said, I got to stay. You didn't know this was going to overtime, but thank goodness you stayed. Because
I was hoping it didn't.
Wow.
I was really wanting to get back in time, but it's one of those where you just get a feeling something was coming up. Like you knew that it was come to some kind of climactic moment that would need to be seen. And so we stayed. John said, go for it if you feel like it. So let's talk about this, set the stage a little bit for this game. It's fairly simple for Oaks Bluff. They win the night at the Field of Champions. They are in the playoffs for the first time since 2019, locking up a 2 seed. Piedmont with a win could possibly be in a virtual tie, three-way tie for the region race. That has actually changed a little bit tonight. But let's go to the highlights and see exactly how we got to this point. So we arrive at the Field of Champions. It's 14-7. At halftime, rather mundane kind of start to the half, and Oaks Bluff is driving, looking to take a 2-score lead, and they have a nice pickup here on a first down, put some first down inside the red zone, but this is where mistakes would happen for Oaks Bluff. They had multiple chances to really extend this lead, but Piedmont with a massive fumble recovery here at the 2-yard line, so it stays a 1-score game. Later on, now to the fourth quarter, Oaks Bluff again driving. This time at the 30, the ball falls on the turf again. Piedmont would recover this about 6 minutes to go when they did that. And then they're off on a drive. Beautiful Cole Wilson scramble, finding Ish Bethel for a first down at the 40-yard line. And next play, more of the same. That pesky referee would not get out of my way all night, and you'll see him more here later on. Bethel just barely steps out. So this is about 3 minutes to go. It's fourth down and goal at the 8-yard line. Piedmont down a score. Look at the beautiful pass. Ish getting up and finding a way to pull that one in. So it's a touchdown. The extra point was good. So it's 14-14 with about 3 minutes to go now in the contest. Oaks Bluff would have the ball would have another opportunity to come down and score again, but the Piedmont defense would be stiff. No joy for them. They would give the ball back to Piedmont with 1:20 to go. And check out the run here. Just pure guts by William Gunn. Gets him down to the 40-yard line. So now with time winding down, the final play of regulation, Piedmont with a chance at the 40. But Hoax Bluff defense would come up with a sack, and that would make it zeros on the clock. So now we go to overtime. Hoax Bluff with the ball first. Second play from scrimmage after a 4-yard gain on first down. Beautiful passing catch. This puts them up 21-14. Extra point was good. So Piedmont now, a chance to tie the game. The season is on the line. First play in overtime. And look at that man, Gunn, just barreling his way into the end zone again. So it's 21-20. Do they kick the extra point? They're at home. Coach Miller calls timeout. We're going to think about it. We're going to put it in the hands of our offense and win this thing right now. The pass, the catch, the fight into the end zone. Piedmont, pandemonium at the Field of Champions as the Bulldogs are going to the playoffs. Left for dead about a month ago, and here they are. I want to show this, though. This is awesome. This is the amazing part of sports. You see the agony of defeat, and I'm not trying to get in their face, but look at the Piedmont player. Come over, console the Hoax Bluff player. It was a battle tonight on the field. Fantastic football, amazing finish, and the Bulldogs come away victors tonight with a gutsy call from Coach Miller, 22-21, going for 2 in overtime to preserve this season.
You know, Piedmont and Hoax Bluff, for a lot of my life, was a intense rivalry. The Battle of 278 East, two schools about 15 miles apart on 278. I think the Battle of 278 East is back in earnest after that classic tonight. And we're going to go now look just right away at the 3A regions right now.
Okay.
Because I think that's going to explain why this game was so big. We're going to go 3A Region 6 first, then we'll go to 3A Region 4. Sylvania had it wrapped up, and they won tonight over Westbrook to finish perfect in the region. Geraldine also had home field advantage. They had that wrapped up. They won tonight big at Glencoe. So those are the two home teams. But then it came down to Piedmont, Hoax Bluff, Ohatchee. It came down, Ohatchee was playing at Plainview tonight. They lost that game 34-18. Piedmont and Hoax Bluff playing tonight, all kind of playoff ramifications. All three of these teams could have been in the playoffs. All three of these teams had, I think Hoax Bluff was the only one that was really safe tonight of being in the state playoffs. But for Piedmont and Ohatchee, tonight was do or die night. So the way it worked out, Ohatchee, with that loss to Plainview tonight, that put them at 3-4. And then you've got, Hoax Bluff 4-3, Piedmont 3-4, and of course Piedmont actually a 4-3, I believe that is. And so basically what you have is Piedmont is in the state playoffs. Actually is the number 3 team since they won the head-to-head with Hoax Bluff. Hoax Bluff is the number 4 team, and Ohatchee is going to be out of the state playoffs. And you made a good point there, Chad. This was a Piedmont team that didn't have much hope of playoffs. A lot of things had to happen, and now they're going to be the actually number 3 seed in the region.
Totally forgotten about it. And they had that game at home against Anderson. It was on statewide television, and it kind of raised some eyebrows because at that point Anderson was really looking good. They played them really close, and since then they've been on a good run. But man, much like we talked to Alexandria earlier on this show, they had a heck of a start to the season. So many big teams back to back to back. And so for them to pick themselves up off the mat, Coach Miller was in here a month ago, and I said, Coach, how are they treating you up there? It wasn't going so well. But now he's come around and led them back to this amazing win for this program.
We've got Piedmont's, that region record is not correct. They've got that 3-4. They're actually 4-3 there with wins over Glencoe and Plainview and Westbrook, and then tonight over Hoax Bluff there. Let's go to 3A Region 4 while we're taking a look at Class 3A because there were some impactful games there tonight, the biggest one being Randolph County beating Dadeville. That wrapped up home field advantage for them, keeps them from going to deep into South Alabama to the Gulf Coast. And Beulah tonight, one of the biggest wins they've ever had in school history. They beat Weaver tonight 38-31. That put Beulah into the state playoffs as the number 4 team. And It's been a long time since Beulah's been in the state playoffs, so that was a big win for Beulah tonight up here at Weaver. Some impactful games in Class 3A Region 4. Coach, Short, your impressions of these two regions here.
Well, the first thing is I'm glad you stayed around and got the kid coming out there and shaking the guy's hand, showing sportsmanship, because 2 years ago when Piedmont and Sachs played in the semifinals and Piedmont won, Sachs kids are laying all over the field. Semifinal game, got an opportunity to go to the state championship game. Several Piedmont kids are seen on social media out there picking those kids up and patting them on the back. That's what football is supposed to be about.
And you're right. What my first memory that I thought of whenever I saw that, I remember when Madison County came to Piedmont years ago, and they actually beat Piedmont at the Field of Champions at a playoffs. And I can't remember the name of the kid. He was at Madison Academy, and then he went on to Auburn.
Johnson.
Carry-on Johnson.
Carry-on Johnson. Yep. He was one of the guys down there that were consoling some of the Piedmont players. And so to see that, full circle, to see it happen to them on their home floor, and then now they return the favor and show good sportsmanship tonight against it in just a very hard-fought game.
Well, Coach, the season's long, as you know. We talk about 10 weeks. That seems like short, but it really is a long season. Coach Miller, you alluded to it, Chad, right here on this show, he said, not complaining, he just said the week that we had him on, which was early in the season, that, you remember this, Coach, he said everything that could go wrong has gone wrong for us. Tonight, things went right.
Well, they had to get off the ground when Pinto gets injured. So they're just now figuring out, now what do we do? We lost him. But I don't know if you noticed that, but Coach Miller still can jump because he got up off the ground there. It shows him celebrating. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
I mean, he got real up in the air. I'm about to call him and see if he'll be a strain back tomorrow. But, both teams, it seemed they fought right down to the end. And it was not a surprise. I was listening to it on the radio. I didn't know you were still there.
Yeah.
When I came by, I was listening to it on the radio, and I said, they're going to go for two because that's when it's going to happen. They're going to go for two, and then I hear the radio people say, they're going for two. They're going for two. Look, he just now landed.
Jumping Jonathan Miller. That's what we're going to call him now. We just saw that.
But
right there.
Everything went right for him. But just how close was he to not score? I mean, the guy gave a little bit more effort, and tonight things just happened to go their way. And if you keep working and doing things the right way, good things are going to happen to you. And tonight, something good happened to Piedmont.
Absolutely. Teen Sports bringing you all these great highlights throughout the year here on High School Football Alabama's After the Game. You saw Kristen Lehman from Teen Sports earlier joining me down at Munford, presenting that great jersey, that customized jersey for our F&M Bank Player of the Week, and also bringing you these highlights. They service over 100 schools here in East Alabama. All the brand names, Under Armour, Wilson, Rawlings, Rydell, The Game, all of those. They're locally and family owned. They are about to open up very soon their storefront where you can go in, just regular folks go in, and great sporting goods and great items out there on McClellan at 135 Exchange Avenue. They've been in business since 2008, 15 years. Teen Sports bringing you our highlights here on High School Football Alabama's After the Game. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
And continuing to provide custom uniforms, embroidery, and screen printing, Team Sports is adding a new player. Coming soon, McClellan Sports and Outdoors. Whether you are an athlete in search of football helmets, bats, or even cleats, or an outdoor enthusiast in search of apparel from top brands, McClellan Sports and Outdoors has you covered. Visit McClellansports.com for more information.
I can't imagine life without Gwen, but we came dangerously close.
I was having chest pains.
Luckily, there was a hospital nearby that quickly discovered one of her arteries was 100% blocked. A hospital with life-saving technology and the latest in cardiac treatment, with an experienced team of doctors and nurses focused on fixing Gwen's heart. What hospital had all of that?
It was all right here at RMC.
What does it mean to be a community bank? At Noble Bank and Trust, it means you're more than an account number, you're a valued member of our community. Whether it's checking, savings, a loan, mortgage, or line of credit, Noble Bank and Trust meets all your banking needs with exceptional technology customized just for you while making you feel right at home. Make the switch to Noble Bank and Trust, and we will make sure you're taken care of from beginning to end. Noble Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. We live in a world that moves quickly, and while we are able to connect faster than ever through technology, maybe you've noticed that real connection is hard to come by. Parker Memorial Baptist Church offers you a place to connect, a place to learn more about Jesus and the difference He can make in your life, a place to build relationships with like-minded believers, or maybe discover what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. A place to use the gifts and talents God has given you. A place where we love God and we love you. Parker Memorial Baptist Church, 1205 Quintard Avenue, Anniston. Visit our website for details.
The game-winning touchdown.
A goal line stand.
The perfect catch.
The perfect stop.
These are the moments that move you, but when a sports injury puts you on the sidelines, it's our job to get you moving again.
Anniston Orthopedic Associates is the longest-standing orthopedic practice in East Alabama, providing exceptional care to thousands of athletes.
Shaping the next generation of legends.
Dedicated.
Dedicated.
Dedicated to what moves you.
Anniston Orthopedic Associates, 8 a.m. Saturday Sports Injury Clinic. Every football season Saturday, 701 Layton Avenue, 3rd floor, Tyler Center.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
You will not find bigger supporters of high school football in this state than the folks at Young Oil Grub Mart. Outstanding supporters of high school football, not only here in East Alabama, but around the state, and they have locations. Check out the Grub Marts. They're in Center, Southside, Alexandria, Jacksonville, Piedmont. They're in the Anniston-Oxford area. They're down in Auburn and Opelika. They have the Super Saver card, the Marathon Rewards card. Their website is fantastic. If you want to find out all the things going on at Grub Mart, that's grubmart.com. Top quality fuel and a whole lot more. Grub Mart bringing you high school football Alabama and also bringing you the Muscle Team. And our Muscle Team this week, best offensive or defensive line performance from the previous week is the Central of Clay County offensive line. They went on the road last week to Beauregard, a good Beauregard team that had been ranked a couple of times this year in Class 5A. They had 49-7 was the win, and they had over 400 yards of total offense. I think they had over 300 yards of rushing offense. These guys are Brian McKinney, Zaylen Stroud, Noah Peterson, Dewey Brown, Nathan Pybus, and you see their offensive line coach in there with them, Wes Campbell as well. Our Central of Clay County offensive line, they get those Grub Mart Muscle Team t-shirts. Let me tell you who else got Muscle Team t-shirts this week. Hell, the offensive line coach Wes Campbell, and also by special request, head coach Danny Horn also got him a Grub Mart Muscle Team. Tonight, you see the special right here. I want to bring Coach Horn and Chad back in at this time. Congratulations, Coach Horn. His 350th career win tonight as they win that great game tonight as they beat Russell County at home at Volunteer Stadium 30-14. There's our colleague. You see him on before the game. The voice that you hear at Volunteer Stadium on Friday nights on the PA, Tommy Wood. And then they did something else. I think they got a special scoreboard where they put this up over the scoreboard. They unveiled this down at the end of the stadium. 350 wins. Coach, I believe he's the second winningest active coach right now in high school football in the state of Alabama. Congratulations to Coach Horn. Well, one of the great coaches, but a really great man as well, great guy. Congratulations, Coach Horn, on 350 wins tonight with that win over Russell County.
And he's still coaching, and we're the same age. And he's about 13 years younger than Terry Curtis, who's the only guy that's ahead of him right now. And if he keeps going, he's going to pass Curtis eventually. It's going to happen.
More team sports highlights. A lot of impactful games tonight. We've talked about a lot of those already. None more impactful than another game you were at tonight, Chad. Before you got to that Piedmont and Hoax Bluff game, you were right up 278 at Spring Garden and Ragland in Class 1A play. They were playing. The winner's going to be at home in the first round. Loser's going to be on the road. This was a huge game between two really solid, I think, 1A football teams in Spring Garden and Ragland.
No doubt. Class 1A Region 6 massive matchup tonight as both teams enter in tonight with only one loss on the region slate, as both lost a game to 7th-ranked Wadley. A win tonight would make them a number 2 seed into the playoffs. Let's go to the highlights and check out how this one played. You know what? We're going to get to the football in a minute, but you guys have talked all year and thrown it in my face about these steak sandwiches and how I have not had one yet. We got one tonight. Coach stole one for me tonight. El Presidente. Thanks to Marcus Woods for hooking us up. Ate my sandwich in between Spring Garden and Piedmont. It was a good pick-me-up for all those highlights. That's why I was able to stay at the Field of Champions. So thanks to everybody out there. Great sandwich. All right, now to the game. Phenomenal contest tonight as we were hoping to get some really big highlights in the first half, but not a lot really going. First play from scrimmage, and then it's going to be a fumble by Chapel Pope to Corian Souls. Coach, you talked about him a lot on the sideline tonight. Number 60 was all over the place. He recovers the fumble, but nothing would happen because guess what? You know, when you put the ball on the ground, it helps when you play some good defense to maybe hold the other team to no points. Chapel Pope with a beautiful play there. Turnover on downs for Ragland on that drive. There you see head coach Barrett Ragsdale hoping his team can rally. We're going to have to go to the second quarter before this thing really started to pump up because it was dull. A lot of in between the 40s in the first quarter, but a big run here by Ragland. But Pope would come up big again. He gets the pick inside the red zone, keeps Ragland off the board, and that's going to set them up with an offensive down. It's still 0-0 here with about 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. And John Welch is going to make a phenomenal catch. Nearly picked off. He's going to take it all the way to the house. 80 yards. Nobody's going to catch him. Thought they were, but they weren't able to do that. Some nice blocking downfield by Pope. So 7-0 Spring Garden after the extra point was good. And now we maybe have a little track meet here. Yeah, of course, there's Ragsdale. Go for one, folks. Not quite the same what we saw in Piedmont tonight, but you're going for one. 4th down now for Ragland, and they are going to be at midfield. And it looks like Spring Garden's got it stopped, but a trick play, and it will go all the way down to Drake K for the score. And that would put the Purple Devils on the board. 7-7 is your score. But Spring Garden now a minute to go. Lots of scoring here, right back to back to back. Here's that man again. Pope with a first down inside the 10, setting up 1st and goal for the Panthers. You're going to see a great catch here by Welch for the touchdown. Couldn't get a great angle on it, but it was still a phenomenal catch. That's into the end zone. Spring Garden is up 14-7 at this point. Bit of a rally there at the end of the first half, but the final score of this one would be Spring Garden 42-27. Massive win. Is it a surprising one tonight maybe a little bit? Did you think Spring Garden would have a little bit more trouble with Ragland tonight?
Well, from all the coaches I talked to in 1A in that region before the game, a lot of those guys were pointing toward Ragland. Mm-hmm. Being able to have big play capabilities. Well, tonight it was Spring Garden with the big play capabilities. And just want to mention this. Standing down there in the end zone most of the ball game was Jason Howard with his Spring Garden shirt on, and it wasn't nobody more supporting than him down in that end zone. So he was excited. But that catch over there that you got on film, and let me tell you something about Chad Barnett here. There's no scoring going on. I got to get to Piedmont. I need to go to Piedmont. He said, I need to stay just a little bit more. Well, they scored.
Had a field. He has a field for this.
He did. And he said, I got to go. I'm gone. So I look, and he's gone, and I turn around, and he's still down there. He put his camera down, and he come back up, and he said, I might as well stay. Something's fixing to happen. That's how he got the rest of those plays.
Chad has always had a knack for knowing what to do, when to stay, when to leave. He called me tonight, as we mentioned earlier, and said, I feel like I need to stay. Yeah. And when Chad Barnett tells me he needs to stay, he's got the green light. You go ahead and do that because he's just about every time right.
It worked out tonight. But, yeah, we were, 5-6 minutes left in the second quarter, and it was nothing going on. A lot of, 3-and-out, punt, 3-and-out, punt, and nobody was even returning the punts. They were dropping it. So, there wasn't a lot going on, but we just had a little feeling.
Well, there's a lot of scoring going on. And like I said, I turned around and I said, well, he's gone. And somebody said, well, where's Chad? I said, oh, there he is. He's coming back. And he's just following the camera around. And he sprinted to the other end of the field to get a play, and they threw an interception. So he had to turn around and come all the way back down to the other end. So he got his exercise in tonight. He ate that steak sandwich real quickly, and he was happy. He was a happy camper when he got that sandwich.
Absolutely right.
It's a good time now to go our Team 1 Chevrolet Gadsden region rundown, and we're going to take a look, obviously, at Class 1A right now. And that we're going to begin in this Class 1A Region 6. And, guys, there it is.
How about Winterboro? Big win last night, Coach. I know you were at that game. How about Skylar Mansfield taking the Bulldogs to the playoffs once again?
Well, again, their game last night with Winterboro and Victory Christian had to come down to a win, get you in. And and for Winterboro, I mean, he's done a phenomenal job. And just to get that win, to get them in, that was a big win for Skylar Mansfield and the Winterboro Bulldogs. And then, like I said, Ragland and Spring Garden, I guess they were playing to see whoever's going to play the number 3 team from the other region that we'll be with here in a minute, and that'll be coming up here in just a second because we know Wadley's there.
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to find out here in just a second.
1A Region 7, and by the way, 6 and 7 play each other in the first round of the playoffs. So Decatur Heritage won the thing. Valley is number 2. Then you got Coosa Christian and Appalachian. Appalachian beat Woodville.
So you have
a 3-way tie there.
So yeah, is it a good thing you got the 2 seed tonight and get to host Coosa Christian, or is it? I mean, what?
But I'm gonna say this. I know what you're thinking, and I'm gonna say this because I was at. I think y'all were there too. I can't remember. We were at the Spring Garden Coosa Christian ball game, and there's 3 turnovers early in the game.
Yeah.
That really got that, and they never could quite catch up. It just kind of stayed the same. I think again it'll be one well of a ball game. Where exactly?
That'd be
because they're
the
2 seed and they're the 3 seed. It'll be at Spring Garden. There's well, never mind, I'm not going to say that. But that's another chance to get another steak sandwich. But still, that's they're just excited about being in the playoffs and getting to play that game.
Yeah,
at home.
all things considered. Yeah.
Well, the thing about this is, if you think about it, Coosa Christian and Spring Garden now will have played 4 times in the last 2 years. They played twice last year. So here's a pattern here. Last year, Spring Garden pretty much dominated in the regular season game at Coosa. They played at Spring Garden in the second round of the playoffs, and Spring Garden was the favorite, but Coosa Christian won the game.
In the Fog Bowl.
Yeah, in the Fog Bowl. This year they played game 2, this time at Spring Garden, and to be honest with you, even if you start talking about the turnovers, still Coosa Christian won the game handily. They won the game without much problem there in the game, 21-6. So now you're coming again. The only difference is the game's going to be at Spring Garden again, back-to-back at Spring Garden. So what's going to happen this time? That's going to be the big question here. This has developed into one of the hottest rivalries in Class 1A, not only here in East Alabama. This is one of the hottest rivalries in Class 1A in this state right now between Coosa Christian and Spring Garden. And that's going to be in the first round playoff game at Spring Garden. Going to be a lot of hype around that game the next couple of weeks.
Probably as good a first round playoff game as you'll find because the 2-3s are always good games. Yeah. Especially when you got 2 good regions and they're playing. That 2-3 matchup is always a great game, just like I expect this one to be. But the crowds are going to be phenomenal because both of them are going to have a lot of people. It's going to be loud. It's going to be exciting, and I just may go there to see that game.
And I tell you, I think that Region 6 is probably going to fare very well against Region 7. There's some strong teams in Region 6, Wadley and Winterboro and Spring Garden and Ragland, Valley Head. They're going to have Ragland coming in. That's not your typical number 3 team that's going to be going to Valley Head in the first round either.
No, in that whole region, the thing about them is there is some very good athletes in that region, very good athletes. And a lot of times you look at 1A, you think, well, they got one. But I've seen all of them either on film or in person, and there's multiple athletes on that film. And Spring Garden has got some very good athletes out there. They made some great plays tonight with downfield throwing the ball. And that's one thing that they weren't doing early in the season. They weren't throwing the ball as well because they're just kind of making tweaks to their offense. They looked a whole lot better to me tonight than they looked early in the season. That's what you're supposed to be, getting better this time of the year.
Absolutely peaking. Time now for our next Red Threads extra point of the night. Class 4A West Morgan of Trinity is the state's highest scoring team headed into tonight's games. The Rebels are averaging 55 points per game. West Morgan has scored over 50 points 5 times. They have not been held under 41 points in any contest. They even have one game where they scored 83. West Morgan of Trinity, the highest scoring team in the state, regardless of classification. More of After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission in just a moment.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Terry Howell, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
What does it mean to be a community bank? At Noble Bank and Trust, it means you're more than an account number, you're a valued member of our community. Whether it's checking, savings, a loan, mortgage, or line of credit, Noble Bank and Trust meets all your banking needs with exceptional technology customized just for you while making you feel right at home. Make the switch to Noble Bank and Trust, and we will make sure you're taken care of from beginning to end. Noble Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
After 15 years of supplying top quality, name brand sports equipment and team apparel to hundreds of Alabama schools, coaches, and athletes, and continuing to provide custom uniforms, embroidery, and screen printing, Team Sports is adding a new player. Coming soon, McClellan Sports and Outdoors. Whether you're an athlete in search of football helmets, bats, or even cleats, or an outdoor enthusiast in search of apparel from top brands, McClellan Sports and Outdoors has you covered. Visit McClellansports.com for more information.
My dad taught me to fish right here years ago. But when an old sports injury started slowing him down, I knew we'd need to search for the latest procedures in knee and hip replacement. With physical therapy tailored to his needs, a dedicated team of doctors and nurses, and he'd want a fast recovery time. So where'd he find all that?
Right here at RMC.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden, of course, bringing you our region rundown. And in a couple of weeks when we get in the playoffs, they'll be bringing you our playoff brackets. By the way, we will have every playoff bracket, every score in the state of Alabama once we get into the playoffs 1A through 7A for the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, just to kind of give you a preview of what we're doing playoff-wise. Team 1 Chevrolet, 0% financing on new Silverados, 2.1% financing plus no payment for 90 days on new Equinox Blazers, Trailblazers, and Traverses. And you know, those low finance rates can save you thousands in finance charges. Plus, you won't have a payment due until after New Year's. Team 1 Chevrolet, 413 East Megan Boulevard in Gadsden. And don't forget, Iron Bowl. They've got the Auburn, Alabama tailgate packages to be given away in November, the week of the Iron Bowl. Back on high school football, Alabama's after the game. John Holder, Coach Michael Short, Chad Barnett with you on a football Friday night. My crew tonight was at Munford and Handley, senior night down at Munford. Concession stand of the week. We saw that earlier. I made 2 trips to Munford today. They were team of the week from last week. Player of the Tank Edmondson was our player of the week from last week. But, you know, one of the things we just sit there and watch tonight, great effort by Coach Easley and his team. But, man, very few teams in the state have the horses, literally, that Handley has. They really got some great football players down in Roanoke, and that was evident tonight once again down at Munford.
You know, it was a monster win last week for Munford, as you mentioned, you know, as they get the overtime win against White Plains. And, you know, coming off the Team of the Week honors, everything was feeling good. But in comes now 6th-ranked Handley, and they are only 1 loss on the season. That only blemish came to the team that we talked about last segment in Central of Clay. So let's go out to the highlights tonight and check it out. As senior night, as you mentioned, John, always a good night for the seniors. They put in so much hard work. over the years, and now they get honored their final home game of the season as they come out of the tunnel. The Lions looking to at least get a fast start against these Handley Tigers, who have been just deadly on the season, as you mentioned. And we start off with a pooch kick for the Munford Lions, and this is going to be Jamarian Heath for Handley. He's going to take that pooch kick and take it back to the 36-yard line, setting up the Tigers in good field position. Jamarcus Daniel now with a 19-yard run for a first down for Handley. EJ Goss now a 17-yard touchdown run for the Tigers, and they're going to be up 7-0 at this point. So Handley back on offense. Quarterback Cannon Kyle's pass is going to be completed to McCavian Allen. 65-yard touchdown run. The PAT would be good, and Handley is on top, in charge, 14-0. There's legendary head coach Larry Strain, winning big here at Handley, won big at Woodland, and now his team has a punt return here by Brody Shera. Don't know if I said that one right. I'll just be honest with you guys. It's a 30-yard punt return, setting up Handley with a nice first down. And this is more of Cannon Kyle's 17-yard keeper. We've seen a lot of elusive runs by number 1 this year. He is just that guy on offense. Handoff now to EJ Goss, who's also been a stud this year for Handley. 17-yard touchdown there. PAT would be good. 21-0 when we left. They go on to roll tonight, 35-14.
Another impressive performance by Handley. And, they had a lot of penalties in the first half, and Munford played as hard as they possibly could. But this is just a talented team. I don't know, Coach, and you know this, in Class 4A football, I don't know from a pure talent standpoint if there's a more talented team in the state. Maybe equal, but I don't know if there's a more talented team than the Handley Tigers. They've got as much talent as anybody in 4A.
There won't be any of them that has more than they do. They may, like you said, there may be some that has the same. The thing that's most impressive about them is if you go back and look at their games last year in the playoffs, they played Montgomery Cat, all those people, tooth and nail. Every offensive lineman they had last year are all returning. Mm-hmm. And when Larry Strain has an offensive line that was good last year, and they've had a whole offseason, and now they've already played 9 or more games, they're the same guys. And when you're that good up front, you remember listening to Coach Ginn a while ago talk about, boy, these teams got good fronts, defensive fronts. They've got a whole offensive line and a whole defensive line, and none of them play both ways. So, they're stout.
Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden, our region rundown. It's time to look at Class 4A and some interesting things going on, especially in Class 4A Region 4. Handley's won it. They're at home. Jacksonville, they're number 2. They're at home. Anniston and Heflin tonight. Cleburne County almost wrapped themselves up a playoff berth. They had Anniston on the ropes tonight over at the pit in Heflin. Anniston, to their credit, pulled it out, won the game 38-36. So that wrapped up number 3 for Anniston. Number 4, you see, there is a 3-way tie there between Cleburne County, Munford, and White Plains. They all have beaten each other. Cleburne County beat Munford. Munford beat White Plains. White Plains beat Cleburne County, so you can't settle it by head-to-head, so it's going to go to non-region games, which next week comes down to Munford's playing Asheville, White Plains against Westbrook. Cleburne County has got a game at Walter Welborn. If Cleburne County can win at Welborn next week, they'll have the points and wrap it up. If they lose that game, Cleburne County's still not out. But I think the game that everybody is focusing on is White Plains and Westbrook Christian at White Plains. For White Plains to get in, it's very simple. They got to beat Westbrook to have a chance to get in. Still doesn't guarantee it, because then you have to start looking at games like Northside over in West Alabama, playing folks like Hamilton and Sipsey Valley. This is how deep this thing gets in the weeds. But right now, it's all going to come down to these games next Friday night. The 2 to watch, Cleburne County at Welborn and White Plains hosting Westbrook. Those are going to be the 2 games that are going to decide who goes to the state playoffs and who stays home, who gets that number 4 slot and gets to go to Jackson in the first round.
Each little trip down to Jackson, Alabama, and for all those other people, they want to count the points of White Plains that they'll be getting if they win. Well, they've already know how many points they're going to get if they beat Westbrook Christian, because, they're not going to get anything for that last ball game, but that's who they're playing. Cleburne County played Northside. They've got 4 now, and they got Sipsey Valley left. That would give them 5.
If Cleveland County could beat Welborn, then they would get what?
They're going
8.
Yeah,
right.
If they both win next week, Cleveland County goes. If Cleveland County doesn't and White Plains does, it's looking almost like it'd be 5-5 if they beat Sipsey Valley. To what would happen then? It'd be head to head.
Yeah.
The cool thing about this, though, it's about to be week 10, and we're still talking about White Plains in the playoffs. That's the cool thing about it. I mean, here we are, brand new coach, trying to start something. It's week 10, and they are still in the running. When's the last time
That's a great point, Chad. That is a great point.
That
if nothing else, and they might still get in the state playoffs, but if nothing else, Chad, Coach Blake Jennings has got White Plains. You made a great point there. He's got them in the conversation here in the last week of the regular season. Class 4A Region 6 is cut and dried. Cherokee County's won the thing. Aniana's number 2. Fultondale is number 3. Etowah is number 4. They had a non-region game. Good Hope, Hansville, and Asheville will be setting out. Etowah, I believe, most likely is going to be on the road playing that number 1 offensive team in the state, West Morgan, in the first round. So there's the Class 4A Region 4 on our Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden Region Rundown.
Give credit to Etowah. I mean, look what they've been through this year. The coach comes in and just the baseball coach really comes in and has to take over.
The day before, the week 3 game?
And figured out how to get them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So give the credit to the kids and the coaching staff for kind of keeping that together.
And boy, wouldn't they like to play spoiler next week with arch rival Southside coming to town, talking about non-region games and tiebreakers and things like that. Boy, I tell you what, Etowah could really do some damage to Southside coming up next Friday night. That'll be a war over at Jim Glover Field in Ottawa. We'll be back with more of high school football Alabama's After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission.
The Coosa Valley, on the banks of the Coosa River in Gadsden, Alabama. Fishing, boating, and paddling, and home to Team 1 Chevrolet. Team 1 Chevy has been serving generations for years. Even the grandkids are grown. Come by and see why so many people come back to Team 1 Chevy in Gadsden.
Home of the best people, the best service, period.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
The game-winning touchdown.
A goal line stand.
The perfect catch.
The perfect stop.
These are the moments that move you, but when a sports injury puts you on the sidelines, it's our job to get you moving again.
Anderson Orthopedic Associates is the longest-standing orthopedic practice in East Alabama, providing exceptional care to thousands of athletes.
Shaping the next generation of legends.
Dedicated. Dedicated to what moves you.
Aniston Orthopedic Associates, 8 a.m. Saturday Sports Injury Clinic. Every football season Saturday, 701 Layton Avenue, 3rd floor, Tyler Center.
We're excited to announce that starting this April, we'll be entering into the cabinet business. With that in mind, we're going to change our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond encompasses everything that we do in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welberg Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
We live in a world that moves quickly, and while we are able to connect faster than ever through technology, maybe you've noticed that real connection is hard to come by. Parker Memorial Baptist Church offers you a place to connect, a place to learn more about Jesus and the difference He can make in your life. a place to build relationships with like-minded believers, or maybe discover what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. A place to use the gifts and talents God has given you. A place where we love God and we love you. Parker Memorial Baptist Church, 1205 Quintard Avenue, Anniston. Visit our website for details.
Most likely this weekend is going to be the last weekend for summertime grilling. It's going to be 85 tomorrow, 85 on Sunday. That is perfect grilling out weather out on your deck, your balcony, your patio, whatever it is. So go to Johnson's Giant Food, 5 locations to serve you. Coldwater, Jacksonville, East Gadsden, downtown Gadsden, Attala. They got the best meats around. Fantastic stuff going on. So if you want to grill out this weekend, and what a great weekend it's going to be to do that, they've got all the steaks and ribs and chicken and everything you could possibly need. And if you don't want to do that, if you want to crank that grill up this weekend, go to their deli, because they've got the fried chicken, the chicken fingers, and they've got everything else to go with it. It is the place to go for all your tailgating and cooking out needs. Johnson's Giant Food, bringing you our Johnson's Giant Food concession stand of the week and of the year. There's a reason they play the games. You know, in the Christian Football Association, Jacksonville Christian ran roughshod. They were undefeated this season. Throughout the entire season, they beat everybody. But you have to play teams twice, and there's that old adage, it's hard to beat a team twice in a season. Tuscaloosa Christian, who JCA had beaten earlier, comes to Jacksonville tonight in the state semifinals. The winner of this would have been in the state championship game next week. And a tough loss for JCA tonight, Chad. We were there to get highlights of this game over at Tommy Miller Field. Got a fantastic first-class text from Coach Miller tonight, just telling me a little bit of the details about the game, and just a first class, no excuses being made whatsoever. He said, hey, tonight, Tuscaloosa Christian was just the better team, and Tuscaloosa Christian comes up and they beat JCA tonight. But hey, a great season for the Thunders. They're going to finish 8-1.
Yeah, no doubt. It's funny you mentioned the word roughshod, because we don't share notes here. Here's my first line that I wrote the other day. The Thunder of Jacksonville Christian have run roughshod over their opponents during their 8-man schedule this season. During their 8-0 run, no team, or only one team, has held them below the 37-point mark, a 27-8 win over Tabernacle. Let's go to the highlights and check it out and see how it happened tonight, as we have playoff football tonight. And we're going to start off with Tuscaloosa on the drive. Luke Jones takes it to the house for a Warrior touchdown. Jones is going to be back to pass, and he's going to complete this one for a 2-point conversion to Michael Carter, and the Warriors take a 22-20 lead. There you see head coach Tommy Miller, as you mentioned, John, sending out a class text. That's what he's always been, that everybody's known. Thunder with the football now. Travis Barnhill's pass to Jesse Ganaway for the touchdown. This is going to put the Thunder back on top, as we would see kind of a back-and-forth matchup while we were here. Noah Lee's pass now complete to Caleb Stallings for the 2-point conversion. As he fights his way in there, and they're going to take the lead back, do the Thunder 28-22. Tuscaloosa, though, back with the ball. Jackson Harris. He's got to run up the middle, pick up the first down. Jones now back at quarterback. This time he's going to call his own number. He's going to punch it into the end zone, and that is going to be a snap over the head for the 2-point conversion, recovered by Moses Averett. No good on the PAT. It would make it 28-all at that point when we left. Final score, though, 56-48. No shy offenses here tonight. A lot of points being scored, but tough loss for JCA, 8-1 on the season.
Yeah, and you know, the thing about it is, just to share with you a little bit about Coach Miller, he said in the text that he sent me tonight, he said a lot of life lessons learned tonight. He said, but God's still good. He's still on the throne. He's still who he is. We learned a lot of life lessons tonight, and just a great attitude to have after what I know was a disappointing loss for the Thunder.
It had to be, because you're in a state championship game. You know, you tell your kids there's things you'll always remember, and you'll remember that last ball game, and they'll remember those lessons for all their life. But maybe you were trying to say something a while ago about great minds think alike, roughshod. Maybe that's what that was.
I don't know about great minds thinking alike. But we just had to be on the same page.
On the same page.
He's a great mind, but
I don't know about that. So, but yeah, what a season though. I mean, you know, getting deep into the playoffs and you know, coming up just short tonight.
Let's go back now to our Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden region rundown. We're going to take a look at Class 5A and 5A regions. One is completely settled 1, still a lot to be settled. This is completely settled. Top 4, it's done. Sylacauga and Tallahassee are out. Central and Clay County, they'll be at home in the first round of the 5A playoffs, making one of those teams from the Gulf Coast come way north into North Alabama. Valley will be number 2. They'll be at home. Elmore County will be on the road, and Beauregard will be on the road. So that is set in Class 5A Region 4. But guys, Class 5A Region 6, Springville's in. Springville beat St. Clair County tonight. They're the number 4 team. They know they're in. St. Clair County, Lincoln, Alexandria are out. But the top 3, Leeds, Moody, and Southside, there's still a logjam. There's a tie. Head-to-head doesn't matter. Leeds beat Moody. Moody beat Southside. Southside beat Leeds. So we're going to have to go into tiebreakers next week to decide who's going to win this region. This has been at the top. This has been a really, as you can tell, with Leeds, Moody, and Southside all beating each other this year, been a really competitive region at the top.
It's been a great region, and you kind of thought that might happen tonight. I did. I thought that's the way it would go. And you know what? That's what football, that's why it's so great, because we've got that non-region game at the end of the year, and that's why it's so important. If you remember Coach Ginn talking about earlier tonight about scheduling certain ball games, is who you schedule for that 10, because some people say, well, we need to get an easy win. I said, no, you don't. You need to play somebody that's going to pick you up a bunch of points.
Yeah.
And I still got to throw it out there. When Coach Ginn said that Coach Horn called him and said, we're going to be just like y'all, young and bad. I said, man, my boy Coach Horn again already out there thinking how bad they're going to be, and look where they're at today.
That's Class 5A Region 6. That's our region rundown, presented by Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden. Time now for our third extra point. It's our Red Threads extra point. As we roll to that, we talked about offense. Let's talk about defense. Class 4A Catholic of Montgomery has the state's best scoring defense. The Knights only give up an average of 2 points per game. That'll change a little bit tonight. That was going into tonight's game with number 1 Andalusia. Of course, Catholic won that game. I think they gave up 14 points in that game. So Catholic had only given up 18 points in 9 games coming into that game tonight with Andalusia. The Knights have recorded 7 shutouts, and the most points before the game tonight against Andalusia that they had given up was way back early in the season when they gave up 12 to Alabama Christian. Tonight, they give up a huge 14 points to Andalusia tonight down in Montgomery. We'll be back. More highlights. We've got our East Alabama Top 10 Team of the Week and a whole lot more coming up on After the Game.
The game-winning touchdown.
A goal line stand.
The perfect catch.
The perfect stop.
These are the moments that move you, but when a sports injury puts you on the sidelines, it's our job to get you moving again.
Aniston Orthopedic Associates is the longest-standing orthopedic practice in East Alabama, providing exceptional care to thousands of athletes.
Shaping the next generation of legends.
Dedicated.
Dedicated.
Dedicated to what moves you.
Aniston Orthopedic Associates, 8 a.m. Saturday Sports Injury Clinic. Every football season Saturday, 701 Layton Avenue, 3rd floor, Tyler Center.
There's a lot to think about when you're having a baby. Colors of the nursery, names, and most importantly, where to deliver.
We want a hospital that gives families a more personalized birthing experience.
With a compassionate team of doctors and nurses, and a hospital where my baby and I can instantly bond with all the comforts of home.
So where do we find all that?
Right here at RMC, the first designated baby-friendly hospital in Alabama.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at PeeWeeTurnerMotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Aniston.
We're excited to announce that starting this April, we'll be entering into the cabinet business. With that in mind, we're going to change our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond encompasses everything that we do in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welber Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
What does it mean to be a community bank? At Noble Bank and Trust, it means you're more than an account number, you're a valued member of our community. Whether it's checking, savings, a loan, mortgage, or line of credit, Noble Bank and Trust meets all your banking needs with exceptional technology customized just for you while making you feel right at home. Make the switch to Noble Bank and Trust, and we will make sure you're taken care of from beginning to end. Noble Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Terry Howell, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
The Calhoun County Commission bringing you high school football Alabama's After the Game. Fred Wilson, Danny Shears, Carolyn Henderson, Terry Howell, and Lee Patterson supporting our school systems here in the state, or in the county, top to bottom in the county. Also the great recreational sites that we have here. And they just support everything that goes on. The great quality of life that we enjoy here that we probably take for granted so much in Calhoun County. A lot of that is because of your Calhoun County Commission. The Calhoun County Commission bringing you high school football Alabama's After the Game. Well, we had talked earlier with the head coach of the Oxford Yellow Jackets, Sam Adams, and we briefly mentioned the game coming up next week, which I think was an interesting game last year. I think it might even be even more interesting this year, and that's Oxford traveling to Golden Eagle Stadium to take on Jacksonville. Jacksonville getting ready for that game by beating another Calhoun County rival tonight in White Plains, and Chad, we were there.
You know, it was a phenomenal run for White Plains over these last few weeks. Last week, they had a win-and-you're-in opportunity against the Munford Lions, and they're still in it. They have a shot at a tiebreaker next week when it comes to non-region games. But in comes tonight, a tough matchup with Jacksonville as they are moving to 9-1 on the season. Let's go to the highlights and check it out. We would start out at 56-0 as Jacksonville's on top. You know, number 7 in the state. Not a lot of love statewide. Maybe they should be higher, maybe they're not. But would not be looking ahead to next week's game, would they be tonight? Marcavius McNeil, handoff for the first down for the Golden Eagles. And McNeil again with the ball. This time it's going to be a hard-fought first down for the Golden Eagles. And who else but McNeil is going to take this one again. And he's going to take it all the way to the house for a Golden Eagles touchdown. And that would put the Eagles up 62-0. PAT would be no good, and that would be how we ended tonight on the highlights in Jacksonville as Clint Smith looks on. So we're not looking ahead to next week. They handle business tonight, 62-0 in White Plains. They look forward to their matchup next week with an opportunity to get in the playoffs again.
And Coach, so another impressive night as we would expect from Jacksonville quarterback Jim Ogle.
Yeah, what I want to say is the highlights we had, that wasn't Jim Ogle.
No.
So props to Coach Smith and his staff for getting those young kids a chance to play too. You look at 62 and you think, boy, they've run it up. No, those young kids were playing the whole time. So they had a chance to play, and these stats will say that. Jim Ogle only threw it 15 times tonight, but you know he completed 11.
That's good.
For 5 touchdowns to 4 different receivers. They had 200 for 45 yards. They also had 198 yards rushing amongst 5 different ball carriers. So everybody got a chance to play. And you know what that's doing? That's just making them better for next year.
Yeah. So basically every other pass he completed tonight was a touchdown.
Yes. Wow.
Not bad.
So before we go to look ahead at that game next week, there's going to be a lot of hype about this game. Well, let's take time now to go back to our Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden region rundown and go and look at Class 6A, our 2 Class 6A regions. Those are pretty much done. There's no tiebreakers or anything like that. Here's Class 6A Region 6. Clay Chalkville is the winner. Oxford, with that win tonight over Center Point, secured home field advantage. Center Point will be the 3 team, and Shades Valley will be the 4 team. Been a long time since Pinson Valley has not been in the state playoffs. Pinson Valley, Pell City, and Huffman on the outside looking in. So you got an Oxford team that is the runner-up in Class 6A Region 6 going to take on a Jacksonville team who is the runner-up in Class 4A Region 4. Now we've got another 6A region. that affects one of our teams here in East Alabama. This was set last week. Gadsden City actually ended their regular season tonight. They beat Calera 46-0. They got an open date, and then they'll be in the 6A playoffs, hosting a game at Titan Stadium coming up in 2 weeks. Fort Payne will be the 2 team. They beat Buckhorn head-to-head. Buckhorn will be the 3. May Jemison will be the 4. So Gadsden City looking forward to a home game in the 6A playoffs as well. Guys, though, let's talk about maybe the most intriguing, doesn't have playoff implications at all, but Oxford-Jacksonville next week. My first question is, how in the world are they going to fit all these people over there on that south end of Jacksonville at Golden Eagle Stadium? Because it is going to be a massive, massive crowd at this game.
We're parking at Walmart.
Yeah, but I'm glad you asked that question, because I was going to answer that and say to all you people from Oxford and all the people from Jacksonville completely redid their stadium.
Yeah.
So the visitor side, if it was the same as it was last year, you wouldn't have about 200 people. But they got bleachers now from 10 to 10, and that's just like Oxford, and they're actually a little bit higher. So there is plenty of room for everybody from Oxford to come up there, and just go ahead and be ready. You're not going to be able to walk out there and stand on the fence. You can stand on the fence, but it is a long way from the field.
Long ways away, yeah.
So it's just a phenomenal facility, brand new lights. It's not flashing. They ain't got that yet. But as far as having room, you better get there early, because the parking may be different, but they got plenty of room in the stadium now for everybody to see it.
That's good news, and an intriguing matchup, because Oxford is so much bigger than all the rest of the schools really around here, especially in Calhoun County. Kudos for Jacksonville and Clint Smith for scheduling this game. Kudos for Oxford to scheduling this game. We need some rivalries, and this game last year was a great football game. It was a 6-point game down at Lamar Field.
Don't take this the wrong way, but for Coach Sam Adams in Oxford, it's a trap game, because it's a game that, if they lose, people are going to say, wait a minute, you're not supposed to lose that game. If you win, you're supposed to win that game, because you're a 6A school.
Yeah.
But for Jacksonville, it's a great game for them to play, because they're going to see speed at all positions. They're going to see a defensive line that's not – their defensive line at Oxford is not near as the size of Handley. They're not. But they're going to be as fast or faster. So that's what Jacksonville needs to see, because at some point in time, Jacksonville's not in the north. They're in the south, and they're going to see the Catholics and the Andalusians and the Jacksons, and those people can run.
And maybe the Handley again.
Even them. And that was a real tight game, because I went to that game too. Handley and Jacksonville was a great game. But it's going to be just exciting to watch how both coaching staffs go into this game. And do we just turn it loose and throw everything out there to win? Or just watching that subplot of how they're going to approach the game. But man alive, how many passes are going to be thrown? Y'all better be ready to stay a while, because they're going to throw it a lot.
Great quarterback
Both
matchup,
of them.
too.
Both of them. It's a great quarterback matchup, but it'll all come down to who has the most wide receivers, and can Jacksonville's offensive line be able to protect the quarterback?
That's gonna be,
Because the first thing you're going to see is they're going to start rolling him out.
I'm glad you mentioned wide receivers, because there's going to be a lot of talk about the quarterbacks in this game. But the wide receivers now, Fisher, Hampton, those guys, they got multiple guys, 2 or 3 deep at Jacksonville, 2 or 3 deep at Oxford. It's going to be a great game. People have been asking me, well, how do you think these 2 teams are going to play it? I'm like, Sam Adams and Clint Smith, they're playing to win.
Yes.
I guarantee you.
Both running backs are good.
Yes.
So it will come down, as it always does in a big ball game like that, whose offensive front can win the football game.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a scoring match. Whose defensive front is going to win against the other one? I mean, it's going to be a great game. I'm not going to be able to be there, but I'll be able to watch it afterwards. I'll get it on
I wish
Huddle.
we could see more of these games like this in Week 10, for sure. And I don't know why coaches don't do it, because it's going to be a good game. Tomorrow night, go pay for some of the lights.
There will be some money made in Jacksonville.
Next Friday night. Yeah.
There's different ways to approach that game 10.
Yes.
There is, because right now, for all these people, the season didn't end, but their last game was tonight.
Yeah.
Now they got to navigate next week being off. You got to navigate keeping those kids focused on what is at hand. And do you practice every day? No, probably not, but you got to still be able to stay in shape, because you can lose it quickly. And you know what we heard tonight? Did y'all notice how warm it was tonight? We're in game week 10, and we got people cramping tonight. And I can see why, because kids think, well, it's a bit cool a couple weeks ago. And all of a sudden it's hot and humid tonight. Man, I think you was about to cramp out there a little bit, not drinking enough today. I know I was about to.
Chad was sprinting, and
he was running up and down the sideline.
And Jonathan Miller was jumping tonight. We had some pretty impressive
Well,
stuff.
he was running up and down the field, but it was because of that steak sandwich I put in him and all that salt, so he was about to cramp up on me.
That's good.
Calhoun County Quarterback Club, great supporters of high school football. They've got their last meeting coming up this coming Monday. John Cohen, the Director of Athletics at Auburn University, will be there. But you can still be a member. Looking ahead to next year, they do in the off season. They give scholarships away, thousands of dollars in scholarships to student athletes in Calhoun County. And, of course, they're already, I'll guarantee, they're getting ready for the Calhoun County Football Media Day. You can be a part of that and be a part of their season, next season and in the off season. Membership information, contact Kevin Gibson at 453-4886. When we come back, we got more highlights. We got our East Alabama Top 10, and we've got our Team of the Week.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
We live in a world that moves quickly, and while we are able to connect faster than ever through technology, maybe you've noticed that real connection is hard to come by. Parker Memorial Baptist Church offers you a place to connect, a place to learn more about Jesus and the difference He can make in your life, a place to build relationships with like-minded believers, or maybe discover what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. A place to use the gifts and talents God has given you. A place where we love God and we love you. Parker Memorial Baptist Church, 1205 Quintard Avenue, Anniston. Visit our website for details.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
After 15 years of supplying top quality, name brand sports equipment and team apparel to hundreds of Alabama schools, coaches, and athletes, and continuing to provide custom uniforms, embroidery, and screen printing, Team Sports is adding a new player. Coming soon, McClellan Sports and Outdoors. Whether you're an athlete in search of football helmets, bats, or even cleats, or an outdoor enthusiast in search of apparel from top brands, McClellan Sports and Outdoors has you covered. Visit McClellansports.com for more information.
The Coosa Valley, on the banks of the Coosa River in Gadsden, Alabama. Fishing, boating, and paddling, and home to Team One Chevrolet. Team One Chevy has been serving generations for years. Even the grandkids are grown. Come by and see why so many people come back to Team One Chevy in Gadsden.
Home of the best people, the best service, period.
Earlier, we had Robert Smith of Awards to Remember with us talking about Alexandria football. AwardsToRemember.com, they are one of the top 10 awards dealers in the entire Southeast. If you're looking for medals, trophies, plaques, any kind of thing to honor a team or an individual, Awards to Remember is the place to go. They're located on Alabama Highway 144 in Ohatchee. Go by and visit their showroom there and see these things in person. They provide all of our awards here on After the Game, our Farmers and Merchants Bank plaque that we give to the Player of the Week, also our Tough Guy Trophy that we award to our Player of the Week from Ted's Floors and Beyond. AwardsToRemember.com, the place to go. Well, we talked a lot about Alexandria football earlier with the head coach of the Valley Cubs, Coach Todd Ginn. He was with us live in studio. Alexandria, a big win tonight because I tell you, one of the hardest things, Coach, I've always said this, one of the hardest things I think in all sports, football is such a tough physical game. It's so demanding. And to go through an entire football season and not have one Friday night where you don't have a win, that's a tough thing to do. Alexandria got some feel good tonight. They absolutely did. Everybody, if you've been in this thing long enough,
you'll go through it.
You'll go through it.
It's a humbling experience. But, boy, when you get that win, it makes you, and as coaches, they need to slow down and just remember every win, because sometimes they're not there. And you better be able to experience that and just love it. I mean, every win's exciting. So
yeah, absolutely.
I've been there and done that.
And Alexandria, they're feeling good tonight. They win the game over Talladega, their first win of the season, and close out the regular season with a win tonight.
Yeah, this was it. This was the final chance of the 2023 season for the Alexandria Valley Cubs to notch a victory on the season. One of the most historic and prolific programs in state history has only charted 2 winless seasons of record. Back in 1943, that was the last time. The only other time was in 1923, when the Valley Cubs finished just 0-1 on the season. So this would be interesting stuff tonight. So let's go out to Lou Scale Stadium and check out and see how the Valley Cubs did. You know, the Talladega Tigers, again, winless as well, but they get another chance next week to get their first win of the season. Alexandria having senior night tonight, and they would not be denied. Alexandria's Cooper Bridges gets the handoff in the first down for the Valley Cubs. Next play, Elijah Hunter. He's going to run this over the left side for another Valley Cub first down, getting the ball on the other side of the field now. As a few plays later, Morris Jr. fights off number of defenders. He's going to punch this into the end zone. Touchdown, Alexandria. They would take a 7-0 lead at Larry Ginn Field, as the extra point would be good. There's a shot at Coach Ginn, who had a great segment with him tonight. I love the word about the goat pastures out there instead of what Oxford has. Good stuff. Alexandria gets the scoop and score. Morris in there for the touchdown. So good feels all around right now. 14-0 as the Valley Cubs would lead. The extra point would be good, and they're up 14-0. We also saw these folks in this studio tonight as well. Longtime radio crew for the Valley Cubs joining us this evening. Valley Cubs back on offense now. Jeremiah Haithcock's pass is complete to Hunter for a first down, and the Valley Cubs are in business in the black unis tonight, looking pretty sharp. A few plays later, Jeffrey Beeson punched it in for another touchdown, and the Valley Cubs would take a 21-0 lead at this point, and they would go rolling tonight as they would defeat the visiting Talladega Tigers. As you see, Robert Smith and crew getting to call a victory this year for the first time, 50-15.
Alexandria beating Talladega. That's going to lead us right in. We got those teams. Alexandria's 1-9, Talladega now 0-9, getting ready for Sachs next week. But that leads us into talking about teams that are on the other end of things, top 10 teams. Our East Alabama top 10 is presented by Awards to Remember. Not a whole lot of changes in the top 10. Couple of changes, though. One, we'll begin right here at number 10. They fell out. Now they're coming back into the top 10 in our East Alabama top 10 presented by Awards to Remember. That team is the Moody Blue Devils, an impressive win tonight against Southside. They've got a couple losses, but remember, they lost to that team out of Maryland. So in state, they've only lost that one game to Leeds. Number 9 in our East Alabama top 10, Oxford Yellow Jackets. They are a home field advantage, the runner-up in that Class 6A Region 6. Number 8 in the East Alabama top 10, Wadley, 47-0 winners tonight over TCC. Number 7, Randolph County. Still only that one loss coming to Walter Welborn. They win tonight, wrapping up home field advantage in the playoffs. Number 6, Coosa Christian. They won tonight, 51-0. Number 5 in our East Alabama top 10, Jacksonville. Of course, another shutout win, a big one, 62-0 tonight over White Plains. Number 4, Handley. That big win at Munford, 35-14. Number 3, Central of Clay County. Huge winners tonight over Russell County, 30-14. Number 2, these are not changing, Cherokee County, 56-7 winners over Asheville tonight on the road at Asheville. And number 1, B.B. Comer last night beating Fayetteville 49-7. Guys, that's our East Alabama top 10. We'll have one more of these next Friday night before we head into the state playoffs the next week.
Depending on, there may be some things happen this week, maybe Monday or Tuesday, I don't know. But we've got a good opportunity amongst these 10 people right here. to have quite a few people playing in the semifinals, and maybe I can see maybe 2, maybe 3 playing in the finals out of this group right here.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of everybody's eyes are going to be on Oxford and Jacksonville, coming up soon. But I think the one that really stands out, I mean, I know it's not next week, but the following week, the Coosa and Spring Garden, I would really like to see how that one's going to play out, because I think both teams have asserted themselves. Spring Garden had a big win tonight. Can they avenge that loss to Coosa in round 1?
One other thing for the fans out there that like to look ahead, coaches don't, but I can now, is this 3A group in the South with Randolph County and Wellborn and them, what they're going to have to face from the first run on is a gauntlet of teams. There is 5 to 6 of them are all going to be private schools. You know, they hit that road last year. They all went down there, and they just one after another went down on that one highway there, Montgomery Highway there. But it's going to be a daunting task, but I think it's a task that some of our teams up here, Randolph County, Wellborn, some of them, I think they're up to it.
And one game we keep talking about, I guess we're kind of wishing for it in 2A. Reeltown tonight beat Highland home, and a lot of folks are looking forward to B.B. Comer and Reeltown possibly at some point in the Class 2A state playoffs. Reeltown's not in our area, but that's a game a lot of people are looking at. Our final extra point of the night, presented by Red Threads. Class 6A Huffman of Birmingham is the first team in the AHSAA to not score a point in a season in 58 years. The Vikings ended their season last night with a 56-0 loss to Parker. The last team to not score in a season was Class 1A Notasulga back in 1965. We come back, more highlights on the way, and Team of the Week.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Terry Howell, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So, show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
The Coosa Valley, on the banks of the Coosa River in Gadsden, Alabama. Fishing, boating, and paddling, and home to Team 1 Chevrolet. Team 1 Chevy has been serving generations for years. Even the grandkids are grown. Come by and see why so many people come back to Team 1 Chevy in Gadsden.
Home of the best people, the best service, period.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston.
We're excited to announce that starting this April, we'll be entering into the cabinet business. With that in mind, we're going to change our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond encompasses everything that we do in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Wellborn Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
In addition to our Alabama Teachers Credit Union bottom line, where you see all the final scores throughout the night, we also have our big USA Softball of Alabama scoreboard. We give you all the in-depth scores and information. That's brought to you each and every week by USA Softball of Alabama, the national governing body of softball in the United States, and also the statewide governing body of softball in the state of Alabama. You can visit them at USA Softball of Alabama all throughout the year. You can go to the USA Softball of Alabama Facebook page. They have tournaments going on all across the state of Alabama, virtually year-round going on. Fall softball is a big thing. USASoftballofalabama.com, bringing you our USA Softball of Alabama scoreboard. We talked a lot about the Oxford Yellow Jackets. Big win tonight. As we talked with Coach Adams, you know, the game tonight, the difference between being at home against Athens, that's a tough opponent. But the loser was going to go on the road to Hartselle, a place that Oxford's already gone to. They've lost to Hartselle 2 years in a row, including a heartbreaking loss this year. So they avoid that in the first round. And as Coach Adams so well put it, we always want to be at home at Lamar Field. And he's going to be at home in Lamar Field in 2 weeks for the 6A playoffs. But, Chad, they had to get by a very talented Center Point team tonight.
You're right, John. It's a big win, big game tonight at Lamar Field in Oxford as the Yellow Jackets play host to the Eagles. You know, a win and Oxford would secure the 2 seed in Class 6A Region 6, but a loss in Center Point would take that nod and go into the playoffs at home in their first round. So let's go to the highlights at Lamar Field and check out how the Yellow Jackets would fare against Center Point. Oxford trying not to lose back-to-back games in the 2023 season. Interesting play here. Oxford leading 14-8 at halftime, but facing a 4th down punt. But Center Point would run into the kicker and give Oxford a fresh set of downs. Quarterback Mason Mims, he will connect with Nick Richardson, who's going to carry it 49 yards for a first down, as that would be stripped, but he would recover down at the 35-yard line. Next play is going to be Jaden Thomas, a 9-yard run for the Yellow Jackets as they're marching down the field. DK Wilson, he's going to catch this pass for 13 yards from Mims, setting up another first down for the Yellow Jackets. Now 3rd down for Oxford. Quarterback Mason Mims is going to be sacked by Center Point. 4th and 12 now, going for it. Coach said earlier he was just in no man's land. Had to go for it there, and they get the benefit of a pass interference call, and that would set him up with a first down. Kamari Hampton, 2-yard touchdown pass from Mims. The PAT would be good. This would put them up 21-8 for the Yellow Jackets. And they would go on to win tonight, as we mentioned. Big win at home, 35-14, securing that 2 seed in the region so they get to play another game at home this season.
That drive that we saw there, good football teams, and Coach knows this, you take advantage of the other team's mistakes.
Yeah.
That drive, there's 14-8. Oxford's backed up, 15-yard lines, 4th and 5. They almost had the kick blocked, as you saw there.
Yeah.
And they ran into the kicker, did Center Point. 5-yard penalty, got the first down by about that far, kept the drive alive.
Yeah.
Then later on the drive, as you saw there, the highlights that Chad had, Oxford had a guy wide open, streaking the end zone, Center Point, pass interference, kept the drive alive. That was a 4th down play. So that pass interference doesn't happen. That's a 4th down play, and it's Center Point's ball. And Oxford took advantage, though, of both of those and turned that into a touchdown, which put them up 21-8. And again, Coach, good football teams, yeah, you take advantage of those mistakes, and Oxford took advantage of those 2 mistakes by Center Point, turned them into points. And I really think that was kind of the turning point there, because it kept Center Point from getting momentum, and it gave Oxford a little bit of breathing room there late in the 3rd quarter, early 4th.
Yeah, because when you get that breathing room, then your play calling becomes different, because now you start trying to work the clock. If you're not, you're having to speed up. And they do a good job with that. And I've watched them twice this year about how they run their offense. And, you know, this is his 3rd year. So their offense is starting to get to be doing it the way he wants to do it. And kudos to their whole coaching staff. And I said that earlier when we talked to him. They're making the plays now that they're supposed to make, but their kids are confident now. Coach Ginn talks about his kids not confident. Well, Oxford's kids are confident that they can make those plays because they have. And you just got to do it. And they did it like in several games this year. They've made those long drives. And now it's going to be a lot easier to do it because now you got that quarterback out there. So, all right, guys, we've done this before. We can do it again.
Our last Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden region rundown. We focus on Class 2A now as we look at our 2A regions, and we'll begin with Class 2A Region 4. This is set. There's no tiebreakers, nothing happening next week. It's done after the games tonight. B.B. Comer 7-0 and 10-0, ranked number 1 in the state region champions. Thorsby number 2, Isabella number 3, Vincent number 4. So really B.B. Comer the only local team making the playoffs there in 2A Region 4. We move up to Class 2A Region 6. Locust Fork 10-0 for the first time in school history. Southeastern number 2, and then 2 local teams in the playoffs. West End returning to the playoffs for the second year in a row at number 4. But look at that number 3 for the first time, guys, in 13 years. Pleasant Valley headed to the Class 2A playoffs. They sealed that tonight with that big win over the Gaston Bulldogs.
Super proud for Coach Nix. I mean, if anybody deserves it, he does, getting into the playoffs, because he's worked his tail off and his staff to be able to get there. And this year, finally, we talked earlier, some good things happen.
When we come back, one more segment. It's our Ted's Floors and Beyond Team of the Week. That is next.
After 15 years of supplying top quality, name brand sports equipment and team apparel to hundreds of Alabama schools, coaches, and athletes, and continuing to provide custom uniforms, embroidery, and screen printing, Team Sports is adding a new player. Coming soon, McClellan Sports and Outdoors. Whether you're an athlete in search of football helmets, bats, or even cleats, or an outdoor enthusiast in search of apparel from top brands, McClellan Sports and Outdoors has you covered. Visit McClellansports.com for more information.
I can't imagine life without Gwen, but we came dangerously close.
I was having chest pains.
Luckily, there was a hospital nearby that quickly discovered one of her arteries was 100% blocked. A hospital with life-saving technology and the latest in cardiac treatment, with an experienced team of doctors and nurses focused on fixing Gwen's heart. What hospital had all of that?
It was all right here at RMC.
What does it mean to be a community bank? At Noble Bank and Trust, it means you're more than an account number, you're a valued member of our community. Whether it's checking, savings, a loan, mortgage, or line of credit, Noble Bank and Trust meets all your banking needs with exceptional technology customized just for you while making you feel right at home. Make the switch to Noble Bank and Trust, and we will make sure you're taken care of from beginning to end. Noble Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. We live in a world that moves quickly, and while we are able to connect faster than ever through technology, maybe you've noticed that real connection is hard to come by. Parker Memorial Baptist Church offers you a place to connect, a place to learn more about Jesus and the difference He can make in your life, a place to build relationships with like-minded believers, or maybe discover what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. A place to use the gifts and talents God has given you. A place where we love God and we love you. Parker Memorial Baptist Church, 1205 Quintard Avenue, Anniston. Visit our website for details.
The game-winning touchdown.
A goal line stand.
The perfect catch.
The perfect stop.
These are the moments that move you, but when a sports injury puts you on the sidelines, it's our job to get you moving again.
Anderson Orthopedic Associates is the longest-standing orthopedic practice in East Alabama, providing exceptional care to thousands of athletes.
Shaping the next generation of legends.
Dedicated. Dedicated to what moves you.
Aniston Orthopedic Associates, 8 a.m. Saturday Sports Injury Clinic. Every football season Saturday, 701 Layton Avenue, 3rd floor, Tyler Center.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver Card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Grub Mart Muscle Team shirts, those are from Red Threads. We also have our Aniston Orthopedic Score shirts. Those are from Red Threads. Red Threads, officially licensed JSU apparel, local high school team wear, and they've got a great storefront on the square in Jacksonville. Go by and see them. A great storefront. Red Threads, powered by O-Brand, bringing you our Red Threads Extra Points on Football Friday nights. Back with Coach Michael Short and Chad Barnett. Time for our aforementioned Ted's Floors and Beyond Team of the Week. This team, like a lot of teams in East Alabama, had to win to secure home field advantage in the state playoffs. It was dicey there for a while in the second half, but they pulled away to win a big one. That team, the Oxford Yellow Jackets, they are getting the Ted's Floors and Beyond shirts. They are getting the Anniston Orthopedic Score shirts, and they are getting the Awards to Remember Tough Guy Trophy. Congratulations to Coach Sam Adams and the Oxford Yellow Jackets, our Ted Floors and Beyond Team of the Week. That's going to do it. We'll see you back here next Friday night for the last night of the regular season of high school football.
Is a production of Fairfax Garden Media.